One moment, please. Excuse me, as I find my stream on my phone, so that I may speak to you fine people, and you may speak to me. Is YouTube going to give me any trouble today? No, it's not. Excuse me. Just 8, sorry. Stream's working. So I said sometime around 4 or 4:30. Just about right on the money. Hello, Mr. Ozzy. Will you be joining us today? My cat's over here snooping around. What do you want? Come here, buddy. Yeah, I know. He's talking to me. My boy's talking to me. I just ate some hamburgers, Mr. Ozzy. For 30? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so let me get a big swig of this cherry zero sugar Pepsi deal. I got my cat, I got my headset, I got my stream. Hold on one second and I'll start the video. Because today, boys and girls, excuse me, we're going to be watching the 2001 K-Mart 400 at Michigan. I have not seen this race since the day it aired. I was 7 years old, living with my mom and dad. They were still together. Which is really weird to think about now. Because they just split up 18 years ago now. But let's see how this goes. Hopefully my OBS will capture this. It did the last time that I did this. And we're off. Got the audio in the background, like we do for the other races.
Today's fastest family of networks welcomes you to Brooklyn, Michigan, where today the population is increased.
I gotta see how this sounds for myself.
60,000 plus. Here to watch NASCAR Winston Cup racing. 400 miles today at Michigan.
Michigan, 2001. Boy, the quality is doo-doo butter, but it is 2001. And speaking of 2001, I got to talk about Dale. Kerry won the ARCA race that weekend. I did not remember that. Kerry won the ARCA race. There's my man Junebug. I'm so happy you guys can see the race that we're watching.
2001 has been a very productive season for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. 3 wins with 3 different teams. The only driver still missing from victory lane from the DEI stable is Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah. Another one of them Dale Jr. winless streaks.
They all point to driver 8 as having one of the top 3 cars to beat. Junior, how do you rate?
So why do we not win this race?
If we got any car like we had yesterday, we should whoop some ass today. It just depends. Jeff Gordon ran good in practice yesterday too, so we got to race him and a bunch of other guys too. We got hot Shauna Robinson in the race, so we might all get see how it goes.
Junior talked about how hot Shauna Robinson is. I don't know what Junior's looking at, but I don't think Shauna Robinson's that attractive.
Well, that Ricky Craven has been struggling
Ricky Craven.
to get a once promising career back on the fast track. Great
Steve
race
Burns and
last
Ricky
week.
Craven, wow.
Today you start fifth, and you feel
A good thing to do during this race might be to count the dead people. I find that happens when you go back and watch something from over 20 years ago. You can count the dead people.
And in 13 short weeks, this team's really come together. And I want to pick up where we left off last week, because last week we gave ourselves a chance to win.
Something about this early 2000s period I just love. The race we're watching today, the one tomorrow, and the 2 I got planned for next weekend are all from between this, I don't know, there's one race I haven't made up my mind on yet.
She was introduced to the crowd, they roared their approval. Shauna, everybody's with you.
Shauna Robinson.
Smart, patient. I don't have anything to prove out here except I need to finish this race and learn so that I can be out here next year full time. And
Unfortunately, she would be out there next year pretty much full time.
Godspeed.
Nearly kills Dale Jr. at Fontana a year after this.
Are strapped inside 43 fastest of 48 cars that came to attempt to qualify for this 400-mile
Hopefully watching this quality of video does not hurt my fucking eyes. Muhammad Ali floating like a butterfly.
For today's
Bill Elliott has Muhammad Ali on his car? Wow. This is going to be a interesting experience. Ozzy, what are you doing?
Would you pray with me, please? Father God, we thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us to race here at Michigan. Thank you.
Hope the race audio is good in the background. Hey, DFS. Because I have the race audio coming through my television, because I'm watching this on my TV.
And Shauna, as we race this race today, we'll give you the thanks for it. Amen.
So I hope it's the perfect balance.
And now please remain standing for our national anthem. Here from Monroe, Michigan is Cherie, whose recent demo was nominated for
Cherie?
Country Music Recording of the Year by the Motor City Music Foundation for the Detroit Music Awards 2000. Cherie.
She tried to be one of them one-name people. Cherie. I take it she didn't last long in the public eye, because I haven't heard of this woman since. Singing the Canadian national anthem. I didn't know they did Canadian national anthem at Michigan. Did they stop doing that? Because I know they do it at Loudon. Because they did it last week, and both times I was at Loudon. Their national anthem's so much better. Wasn't this the race for Kenny? I don't remember, DFS. I picked this race because I know it has a good finish, but I don't remember anything else about it. I didn't want to pick a race that I remember too vividly. That's kind of the case for these other races. The one we're watching tomorrow and 2 next weekend. I'm trying to pick races that have a good finish or good racing, but I don't remember much about. And this falls into that category. If the race audio is too loud, let me know. I was sad to hear in the pre-race that Dale Jr. was favored to win this. Spoiler alert, we don't, and I'm just curious to how this is going to play out and see why, because I don't remember shit about this race until like the last 30 laps. And because we get to skip all the commercials, this will be a short one. 2 hours and 39 minutes. That's how I know all the commercials are taken out of this broadcast. Woohoo! It was 2001, but this is pre-9/11. We're in a after Dale Earnhardt death, before 9/11 period. This is a really interesting time as far as NASCAR goes. Dude, Muhammad Ali looks like he can barely stand. And they trotted him out there to this race. There's Mike Skinner in the 31. I've got to remember that you guys can see what I'm seeing. I'm not used to watching a race and you guys being able to see it. I wish this video would stop stuttering. It's not it's not YouTube or my internet. It's just this video on YouTube. Make sure I'm okay. Screen. You can go back to full screen now.
Jeff Gordon tries to close in on the Winston Cup point standing lead in search of his 4th championship.
So at this point in the season, Jeff Gordon does not have the points lead. Dale Jarrett, early 2001, Dale Jarrett was better than ever. He looked better than he did in 1999 when he won the championship. I remember vividly when Dale Jarrett won the spring race at Darlington this season. I cried because I was like, I'm tired of Dale Jarrett winning. I was 7 years old and I cried when Dale Jarrett won Darlington because I said I was tired of him winning. Old DW.
Hard to believe in 1968 they opened this track with 26,000 seats. Now seats nearly 140,000 folks plus a full infield, all here to see Winston Cup racing. But Darrell, from one particular seat, the driver's seat. This place hasn't been that friendly.
Well, the thing about it is, this place is aggravating. I mean, it's an easy track to drive. It's big, it's very forgiving. You can go high, you can go low. That's your problem. Drafts. You pass the guy through the corner. You go down under him, you pass him, you think you got him cleared, beaten. All of a sudden you look in the mirror and he's drafting back up on you.
I can't wait to see how this compares to modern NASCAR Cup races at Michigan. That was the main reason I wanted to pick a track like Michigan. I'm like, how does this look in 2001 versus 2021, 2020, whatever. I'm sure the differences will be insane. No stages, kids. This is just 200 laps. First to the end wins it.
Set to go racing here in the K-Mart 400 at Michigan International Speedway. You're watching NASCAR on FX.
Fire them up. Let's go. Skip a little bit. There we go. We're rolling. We got Jeff Gordon and Ricky Rudd on the front row.
400-mile race.
Starting lineup's going to be a trip to look through. Familiarize yourself with the back markers that nobody remembers.
Shower very early this morning. Kind of cloudy, overcast skies right now.
I wish the quality of this video was better, but this is the best we got. It's 2001, and NASCAR hasn't uploaded this. This is on some random guy's YouTube channel. We got Jeff Gordon, Ricky Rudd, Mike Skinner. What's that car next to Mike Skinner? I can't even tell. Is that Stacy Compton? Oh, Dave Blaney. Dave Blaney in the 93. Mike Skinner, Dave Blaney, Ricky Craven, Bill Elliott. Kevin Harvick and Dale Jr. Dale Jr., who was actually the track record holder at Michigan at this point. Jr. broke the track record in 2000 at Michigan. Johnny Benson, Jeremy Mayfield. Ryan Newman in a 0-2 extra Penske car. I don't think Newman was full-time at this point. Jimmy Spencer, the man that never forgets. Jeff Burton, the king of the rain shortened wind. Steve Park. John Andretti, the best driver to drive the 43 since Richard. Jeff Green, underrated. Rusty Wallace. Mark Martin, Bobby Hamilton Jr. Wow, Bobby Hamilton Jr. in a cup race. Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett. Ironically, they were on the broadcast together last week at Loudon. Buckshot Jones, Hut Strickland. So yeah, from the broadcast last week to this race in 2001. Booby La Booby. Ron Hornaday in the 14. Sterling Marlin, the Silver Bullet. Todd Bodine. Please tell me he's the... No, wait, Brett Bodine's in this race too. Shauna Robinson. Matt Kenseth starting 31st. Casey Atwood, oh my God, the next Jeff Gordon, ladies and gentlemen, Casey Atwood. Jason Leffler, Mikey. Bobby Hamilton won Talladega earlier that season. Tony Stewart, way in the back. Ward Burton and Elliott Sadler. Ward Burton, who was probably at the peak of his Cup career. Tara Labonte, whose career was in a downward spiral at this point. Jerry Nadeau seemed like he had a bright future. And Robert Presley, one of the best drivers to never win a Cup race. I'm a big Robert Presley fan. And this is back when we had cars that failed to qualify. Kenny Wallace, Rick Mast, Mike Wallace, Andy Houston, and Stacy Compton. So Stacy Compton failed to qualify, but Dave Blaney qualified fourth. Dave Blaney's a wheel man, dude. He's another one of those drivers, I would say, one of the best drivers to never win a Cup race.
43 cars, over $3 million, but here's the key number, guys, 50 laps. Want to do this race, 3 pit stops, 50, 100, and lap 150.
50, 50, 50, and you can come home a winner.
No overtimes, no stages. If a caution comes out late, it's over. This is pre-overtime and obviously pre-stage. By the way, I got an Xbox 360. Oh, wait, here's the point standings. Dale Jarrett with a 50-point lead over Jeff Gordon. Do you think it'll last? Dale Jarrett starting way in the back. Jeff Gordon's got the car to beat up front. I missed this points format. Kevin Harvick, the rookie who missed the first race because he wasn't in the Cup Series, somehow top 10 in points.
And this is when you're really excited. You're coming down and you want to go, your crew chief's
I got an Xbox 360 and I ordered NASCAR 09 last night. I'm really excited for that to get here in the mail. Looks like it's going to rain, but good thing if it does rain, we could just skip it. Because we're time travelers. We're from the future. From 2021, we're walking around the year 2001. The Twin Towers are still standing. We're still sad about Dale Earnhardt. I love Michigan pre-repave. I considered watching Michigan, the second Michigan race from 2012, the one that Greg Biffle won, because that was like the last great Michigan race. But I wanted to go way back for this. I wanted to go a little further back in time. Bill Elliott, who was in the middle of a 7-year winless streak. 7-year winless streak, Bill Elliott at this point. When I was a kid, I was like, damn, it's really been that long since Bill Elliott hadn't won since I was a baby? Cool paint scheme. Even with Muhammad Ali slapped on the hood, it's still cool.
And the other team that he got the number from is 92. It's number 92. Yeah, 92. And did I tell you how they got the 32?
Coming to the green.
But you will. All right, guys. All right. Here we go.
DFS, I considered 05 Daytona. I don't know.
And over 160,000 fans.
I wanted to pick races that show why I love these racetracks that just don't seem to put on good races anymore, like Michigan. Green flag. This is back in the day. We're double file here, but on restarts, we'll have single file restarts with lap cars to the inside. Good Lord. Ricky Rudd gets away with the lead. I liked Harvick's white car there when it had black numbers. I don't like it with red. Oh, we got a battle for lead. Ricky Rudd's going to get those 5 precious Winston Cup points. 4 wide for 5th. Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, Ricky Craven. Jr. didn't give. Hell, them guys on the outside ain't giving it. Craven's not either. Neither is Bill Elliott. 3 wide. Andretti, Kurt Busch, Mark Martin.
Now you know why there's 160,000 people here. Oh, yeah.
Tell them again, Mike Joy. Why are they here?
And we've seen it all year long. A little bit harder time, better racing. I guarantee you.
Jeff Gordon. Ricky Rudd going to give him a break. This is back in the day when guys, no, Rudd cuts him off. I think if it was anybody else, Rudd might have cut him a break there, but it's Jeff Gordon. And back in the day, everybody hated Jeff Gordon, competitors and fans alike, especially people like Ricky Rudd. I don't think anybody hated Jeff Gordon more than Rusty Wallace, though. Oh, the silent lap 3. I'm only watching one race today. I'm not watching a whole other race after this. Oh, come on, Fox. Don't cut away from the battle for the lead. Maybe Fox hasn't changed that much. There you go. Jeff Gordon side by side with Rudd. Led that lap. 5 points. Dave Blaney's still running top 5. He didn't drop. I mean, we're only like 3 laps in, but.
So you can make some good moves and stay out of trouble.
And one reason, D, you always want to lead laps, but getting that car out there, that clean air, get that fresh air on that front end, pushing down, always the best place to be.
Well, when you're back in there racing, people, you come up off the corner and all of a sudden you got to lift a little bit and you can lose as many as 10 spots as tight as
5-time Michigan winner, Rusty. I didn't realize Rusty won there 5 times. You think of Rusty, you think of Bristol and Richmond. I didn't know he won 5 races at Michigan.
Racing for Richard Children, number 30.
The old blue deuce.
Doesn't take long to sort them out, but boy, it's exciting for a few laps there while they're all bunched up.
Gordon and Rudd broke away. Skinner and Dale Jr. are going to split Dave Blaney here. Nope, Jr. stays in line. Jr. had a run down the back. He could have took him 3 wide. Wow, Jr. lost a motor. This is back in the day where if you changed engines before the race, you did not have to go to the back. I can't remember what year that became a rule. But I know in 1998, Dale Earnhardt changed motors after the qualifying race for the Daytona 500 and didn't have to go to the back. He still started 4th. And Junebug passes Mike Skinner. That Budweiser car is iconic.
Yeah, I'm sure he's still kicking himself about that one.
That Budweiser car is amazing. I've got like 5 die casts of variations of the Budweiser car sitting right here next to me.
Mike, just to show you how fast the front cars get away from the guys in the back. Here comes Gordon and these guys down to the line now. They're going to go across the line now, and the last car is up in the middle of 3 and 4. That's how quickly they get sorted out here in about 5 laps, 6 laps.
Gordon, the fastest car. Clean air still meant something back then. It wasn't crippling in the center of the corner like it is today, but if you look at the last lap miles per hour speeds, Jeff Gordon's pretty fast. Excuse me. Oh, God, they're giving Shauna Robinson the Danica treatment. Oh, my God, can you believe a girl's driving a race car? Guys, a girl's driving a race car. This is unheard of. That's a quick commercial break. Jeff Gordon, Ricky Rudd, Dave Blaney, Dale Jr., Mike Skinner, the top 5. NASCAR on FX. Well, damn, where is everybody that said they were going to hang out this weekend and watch an old race with me? Oh, we got a caution. Jimmy Spencer.
Jimmy Spencer coming off turn 2 has brought out the first caution of the day. He comes working lap 12.
Old Spence. You would think Spencer's on the downside of his career, and he kind of is, but certainly not on the drama front because he's got a lot of that coming. What happened here? Spencer just gets loose. Wow. He got back in the gas to slide up in front of Jeff Burton and just come around.
Did a really good job of not having any further damage.
Just hurt that right rear quarter panel. That's not good.
Right here, trying to make the pass on Burton off turn 2.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. I'm just wondering where everybody else is.
It's pulling Spencer around. It takes so much air off of the back of that car when there's somebody right outside of it.
These cars have so little downforce.
Get that loose off too. Very lucky.
Oh yeah.
Now, if that wreck happened in 2021 in the grass, he would be fucking done.
You know, he's been running good at this racetrack.
Rusty Wallace on board camera.
And Wayne Jenks having a tough time getting that jack onto the left side of the car. 4 flat spotted tires for Jimmy Spencer, and he's down and away.
A couple more pit stops. Mike Skinner is coming.
Mike Skinner pitted. He was 5th. Harvick.
Coming in though.
What we're seeing here, though, their cars were not right. They know this is a good opportunity to get to pit road and adjust it. Plus,
Skinner, Rudd, Harvick, Jeremy Mayfield, Mark Martin, Steve Park, Dale Jarrett. Poor Mike Skinner never won a race. Poor Mike Skinner, this team needs a win. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, as a time traveler from 2021, it ain't going to happen. Harvick, first car off pit road. Look at the NASCAR official at the end of pit road. You see that? They've got a guy standing in the grass. And we got a loose tire getting away. Is that from the 33? Ooh, look out. Okay, the tire's settling down. It's not going to roll back.
A loose tire, unfortunately, unlike last week on Dover's narrow pit road, it finds its way to a halt without anybody hitting it.
You picked a fine time to leave me. So Dale Jr. passed Dave Blaney during the commercial, and Mike Skinner pitted, so we're 3rd now. I miss being that invested in a driver.
Sponsor of the 2002 Olympic Winter Games and the 2002 U.S. Olympic team. We are currently under caution, getting set to go green. Let's go back upstairs. You might join in. Well, the first 10 cars in your picture did not fit under this first.
The top 10, Gordon Rudd, Earnhardt, Blaney, Johnny Benson, Ricky Craven. Top 10 stayed out. Single file restarts, kids. I do think double file restarts with a choose cone are an improvement over this, but this was almost more fair to the leader. Not almost, definitely was. Jeff Gordon slipped up off the bottom. Look at all the trash. Michigan and Fontana, the trash bag capital of the world for racetracks. And Rudd's going for the lead. I wish Dale Jr. would have got out of line and pushed him by. Boy, Jeff must have sent that thing into 3, or Rudd got really loose or something, because Dale Jr.'s to the outside now. Look at Junebug. We're going to beat that Jeff Gordon today. That damn Jeff Gordon. Woo, what the fuck is wrong with Ricky Rudd? He stayed out. All these cars around him stayed out, too. I don't know what happened.
9,200 to Steve. Well, that Ricky Craven radioed his crew chief and said that his car is rotating well, it's turning well in the corners, but he's searching for a good entry. His car's just a little bit loose on it.
Look at Ron Newman with yellow stripes on his bumper. Dude from the get-go was fast. Now they say some drivers are just fast no matter what they're driving. Ron Newman was fast. I was there the night Ron Newman won his first pole. I went to pole night at Charlotte in 2001. Newman was the last car to qualify. And I think he knocked Steve Park or somebody off the pole. I want to say it was Steve Park. And it was like, damn, Newman's fast. That's back when qualifying was actually exciting and required skill. Wow, Kurt Busch. Bobby Labonte, Kurt Busch. Race back to the yellow. It's 2001. We do not freeze the field. We race back to the line. SRX driver Bobby Labonte. 2021 Atlanta winner Kurt Busch.
Jarrett could have punted the 18 in the rear. I don't know. The 18 got turned around when he slowed down back there.
I don't see any damage on Dale Jarrett.
On the 88 cars.
When's he going to race that truck?
18 car got spun around by somebody. Well, Darryl, with the condition of Dale Jarrett's ribcage,
Dale Jarrett has a rib injury from qualifying at Charlotte about a month before this. I was at that. That was pole night at Charlotte. Wow. Pole night at Charlotte 2001, Dale Jarrett had a horrible crash in turn 4. I remember it vividly because he came off of 4 and that thing went around and it went bam. You could hear it smack the wall and everybody went because there was a big crowd at qualifying. This is back in the day. We used to get big crowds at qualifying. And I'll never forget hearing Dale Jarrett's car hit that wall and everybody in the crowd gasping. That was my first time at the racetrack, too. 2001 pole night at Charlotte. I remember there was a lightning and weather delay at some point that day before qualifying.
Having a look at the replays. Yeah, on the horn to Dale.
Ned Jarrett spotting for DJ. Kurt Busch ain't going to make it back to pit lane.
Here you go. Here's a great look right here.
Ooh, Lord almighty. I was looking at the 3 wide in front of him, and yeah, he got a little touch from Dale Jarrett.
Got a little loose with him, and I don't think Dale ever hit him, but I think Bobby started to go around. Wow, what a save. Oh, that paid.
Bobby Labonte has such car control. Remember that save he made at Daytona in like 2010 or whatever it was? Was it 09 or 2010 when Bobby Labonte had that incredible save at Daytona? That looked a lot like it. Bobby Labonte is such a good driver. The latter part of his career was just not fair, in my opinion. He was put out to pasture from Gibbs, wound up in that fucking 43 car, God help him.
And then on Saturday, the Arthur race on Fox Sports Net, followed by the final practice for the Winston Cup cars on FX, and then Saturday, the Busch Series, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific from Kentucky, and Sunday, NASCAR this morning, and then on Fox, the Winston Cup.
Look at all the NASCAR TV shows I used to have. For the longest time, we were the only sport that had a pre-race show for the pre-race show.
208 miles an hour, and we've seen a couple of traffic mishaps. Is that because of the speed, the cooler conditions on the track?
Chris, I really believe the cooler conditions are kind of helping that because we're running a harder tire than normal here. And after restart, just like we saw a second ago,
Harder tire. You can definitely tell there's a lack of grip with guys like Spencer and Kurt Busch. I don't think Steve Park ever touched Kurt Busch. I think he just overcorrected to stay off a park and it got away from him.
Normally, the tire does tighten up. So if you kind of got a loose condition, harder tire, low air, hey, spin around.
All right, out of turn 2, and then this is a little bit of the aftermath. Dale Jarrett and Bobby Labonte.
Yeah, you see right there, it looks like Bobby may got a little bit loose, got a little brakes right there. Jarrett being right behind him may took him wear off his spoilers. Plus, maybe some debris on those tires, cool tires, harder tires again, could all help this.
Yeah, now DJ already, we talked about the muscle, the tear in the rib area. This is his onboard, and this is what he saw going through that with Bobby Labonte.
Yeah, as he goes down the corner, he backs off, and then he sees Bobby gets a little bit loose right there, and just barely gets by. He's very fortunate in that situation not to get caught up any worse than what he did.
Chris Myers made those Fox broadcasts a lot more tolerable this year than they should have been. Because Fox was pretty shit this year, but it was great to have Myers back. He had good chemistry with Boyer and Gordon on the pre-race show.
Bobby Labonte has already made 2 pit stops, and he's planning to make a third one. The problem is the front valence on the car. It's all pushed up, and they've been trying with
This is June 2001, so it's like 4 months before 9/11.
Aerodynamics is really important.
I think it's June. Yeah, this is June because Fox is still doing it. If this was the other Michigan race, it would be on NBC. So this is Fox, so this is June. Gordon, Dale Jr., Ricky Rudd, Dave Blaney, Johnny Benson.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. Look, here's the crossover gate right here. That's where cars have been coming across the racetrack all morning long, in and out of the racetrack. And I believe that that's the culprit for these last 2 spins. Watch Jimmy Spencer. He's down there. He's not quite to the gate, but the cars start crossing over and just before the opening of the gate.
That crossover gate there is really unsafe. Like, did they not learn from Michael Waltrip's crash at Bristol? And this is Michigan. You're going way faster at Michigan. I'd hate to hit that fucking opening.
21 laps complete, 22 as they come to the line. Jeff Gordon still leads.
Gordon, Dale Jr., Ricky Rudd, Blaney, Johnny Benson. Had a lot of restarts in this race already. Wow. Gordon's car is taut until about 2 or 3 laps in the run. And you go, Junior. Dale Jr. taking the lead. What the hell's he doing? When Gordon's car gets back up to speed, I'm sure this won't be a competition. But damn, Junior's got some good short run speed. Good God. Once again, track record holder at Michigan at the time. Johnny Benson's going for 3rd on Ricky Rudd. Johnny Benson, who would get 1 Cup win after this. He would win Rockingham. 2001, I think, has 19 different winners in the Cup Series. That is insane. 19 different winners. You go, Junior. So we've had Rudd, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jr. leaving. Uh-oh, another wreck. Rusty Wallace hit the wall. Caution's out again. Right when Dale Jr. Oh, good. These short runs are good for Junior, it seems like. I actually started watching NASCAR while Dale Jr. was still in the Busch Series. The earliest I remember Dale Jr. was like the Busch Series, the 3 AC Delco car, which I have a 124 sitting next to me right now. Won back-to-back championships over Matt Kenseth. I remember that car, and I remember that was the first time I saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. So what happened with Rusty? Ooh, he tried to clear himself.
He gets hooked on the 66 car.
He either tried to clear himself or the 66 misjudged it and hooked him into the wall. We've seen this. That's a modern day accident we've seen happen a lot with guys like Kyle Busch. That makes me think of Kyle Busch.
Billy Wilburn, the front tire changer, has called for the sawzall so they can try to cut away
Some of the damaged front fender.
Well, Rusty's day's ruined. And we didn't have a stupid damage repair policy either, so they can actually take their time and fix this thing right and be safe when they send him back on the racetrack.
Jimmy Spencer, lap 16.
So good for them.
Now lap 25, she was. There you see a little damage to the nose of Todd Bodine's car.
Todd Bodine, figures a fucking Bodine. Any race that a Bodine was in, they pretty much had to cause a caution. Dale Jr. pits, Jeff Gordon stays out, Johnny Benson stays out, and I'm guessing those cars that pitted at the lap 12 caution probably stay out. So it was fun while Jr. led for a minute. Most of the field pitted. A lot of turbulent air and sliding around going on further back. At this point, you would be smart to have fresh tires. Let me ask you, do you like the 8 car better with the black roof or the red roof? This is 2001, so he's got the red roof on the 8 car. I've got the die cast of both. I don't know which one. I think I like the red roof better with the white number and the blackout one. Subtle little changes they made to the 8 car over the years. Jeff Burton's third now. Jeff Green fourth. A lot of cautions. I didn't remember there being this many cautions in this race.
Now also, Jeff Green stayed on the racetrack, but he was in the pits at lap 16, chose not to come back in that DOL number 30 car. So the strategies, they are very diverse here in the early going at Michigan International Speedway. 25, 200 laps complete.
Oh, Russell William Wallace got taken out.
Hey, about a swing. Come on. Strike 2. Another swing and a miss. That's what you get for midget racing instead of little league.
Hey, man, you're the stick and ball guy. Tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Looks like you're swinging right. You got the right equipment. But those shoes, I think it's the shoes. That doesn't look right.
My shoes? What's wrong with my shoes?
We eventually got in cleats, and you should have seen him hitting. Next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Radio Shack, the Yankees go across town to take on the Mets in a rematch of last season's Subway Series, or Jason Giambi and the A's battle the Giants for the Bay, or other regional action. It all begins with this week in baseball next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern.
So I picked up a couple of original Xbox games today. I picked up Tony Hawk's Underground 2 and Ultimate Spider-Man. And like I said, I ordered NASCAR 09 and Spider-Man 3. Oh, Kurt Busch interview.
What are you going to do from here? Things are fine. It's just tough to go out 2 weeks in a row early like
Kurt
this.
Busch is only
This is a new
22.
type of car, a new type of cars, and you do types of decisions on what to change during a race. Felt something early on, and we made the wrong decision on that pit stop as far as adjustments, and that's what got us in trouble. Glad you're okay, Kurt. Let's go to Dick.
More than a bit of a surprise that
That's Kurt Busch before he had plastic surgery on his ears. If you look now, Kurt Busch's ears have more of a point to them because he had plastic surgery. The more you know. Because people used to walk around calling Kurt Busch Waldo when he had those big fucking ears in that interview. Yeah, my dad used to hate Kurt Busch and they always called him Waldo. I know all the DEI paint schemes were virtually the same, but I love them.
Well, Darryl and I weren't in Kentucky next Saturday. We'd be at the stadium for the Yankees-Mets game. I had Joe Buck and Tim McCarver. You know they cranked it up last week on Fox Saturday?
Good God, Joe Buck was putting people to sleep all the way back in 2001. Can you believe it?
How about let's crank it up on this restart?
Jeff Gordon, Johnny Benson, Jeff Burton, Jeff Green, and Mark Martin in the top 5. A lot of cautions in this race. A couple of big names, too. Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace. Crank it up. Excuse me. My eyes have adjusted to watching this old-ass quality video. Boy, Junior's in a lot of fucking traffic right now. Had to pit, though. Might as well. Ooh, somebody was washing up. There were 3 wide, and somebody was taking off up the track.
Jeff Gordon for the lead as they come around to complete 29 laps.
Imagine a car or a driver like Johnny Benson trying to take the lead from a Hendrick car now.
There's Spencer back in there. You know, after he spun, looks like he's
And Johnny Benson's going to get the fucking lead here.
Working at it on the bottom.
That Pontiac.
all the way off the corner. And when you can do that,
That long front end of those Pontiacs. Look, multiple grooves at Michigan.
I know we say every week, but
It used to be a thing, I promise.
pretty soon.
You see Gordon on the hot side about 2 lanes higher than Benson. Keeps that momentum right there. He's still going to lead this lap.
That's two Henry power plants racing against each other right there. They just happen to be 2 different body styles. One Pontiac, one Monte Carlo.
Rick Hendrick seeking his 100th win as a Richmond Cup team owner.
Hendrick going for win 100. Wow.
99 for Hendrick Motorsports.
How many do they have now? 270 something?
Johnny Benson in the 10, Jeff Gordon in the 24, Jeff Burton in the 99. That's the only 3 cars that have not pitted.
And from provisional land, here comes Tony Stewart.
And speaking of Rick Hendrick, we want to be sure and say hello to Papa Joe today. He's in the hospital, and he was just in there a few weeks ago. He needs our prayers right now. We need to pull him out of there. So get well soon, Papa.
Keep it in church, DW.
Stewart's progression after taking a provisional starting position, he had
DFS some weeks I wonder why I still watch.
Knew it was just a matter of time before he.
But it's nice to be able to retreat into the past like with this race.
4th in the points in the last 7
Who the
races.
fuck is...
That is quite a mark.
Hold on a second. Enjoy the race. I'll be right back.
From what, 28?
Way back, and this is a brand new race car, but they did the Goodyear tire test here a few weeks ago. Ran over 250 laps in race conditions.
In 11th place, Bill Elliott. Trying to move underneath and up. That's Ward Burton just ahead.
Talked to Ray Abraham. He said Bill was pretty good. He didn't know how he would fare in the race, but he wasn't over-optimistic that he'd win this race. But he said he thought he was pretty good. And there goes Jarrett right by him.
Dale Jarrett, that UPS car all the way from the top of the racetrack to the bottom before they got to turn 1. He's going to pass both these guys. Kansas in the 17, Elliott in the 9.
Well, you get a run like that, get some momentum up, and those other guys lift just a teeny bit coming off the corner, and you can go right on by.
Well, he looked like Ronnie Bouchard at Talladega on the last lap. Boom to the bottom and by.
Yeah, where'd he come from?
Yeah, right. Rusty Wallace has made repairs. Now the only car out of the race right now is Kurt Busch.
That was a phone call about work tomorrow.
I think they're taking Rusty's car back into the garage.
See, Johnny Benson's still leading. I had to step out and take that call.
They got to take it in there and work on it some more.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, you want to work tomorrow? I fucking guess.
the whole front end on the race car here. You're in such
No, I don't want a weekend.
gonna make you maintain.
I want to be miserable and have a sore back for the rest of my fucking life.
You can't maintain 200 mile an hour with no right front fender.
3 wide, Junior, with Ricky Rudd and a Bodine. That's not where I want to be.
Heck of a run off turn 2, Larry. After pit stops, he took this last restart way deep in the field.
I wish that cost nothing to come out. We were sitting pretty.
Still outside, still there.
We were leading this fucking race. That looked tight going into 1. The front of Junior's car looked like it wanted to go straight. Ooh, 3 wide. Rudd, Harvick, Hamilton.
Hamilton on the outside, Rudd on the inside.
Rudd's fast. He's got a really good car. Here's back when Robert Yates engines and cars were so fucking fast at these big tracks. Fontana, Michigan, Daytona, Talladega. The Yates cars were going to show up. Oh, that's the second time today Rudd's cut somebody's balls off of 4. He did it to Gordon early. He did it to Hamilton there.
Hamilton in that 55 car. But that's what happens here. You're turning off the corner, your car's moving up, and the wall comes up, and you've got to yank it.
Look how wide the groove is at Michigan back then.
View from the monster.com. Looking at the competition around turn 1 and 2 and into that back straightaway.
Junior making a move on Harvick. Slingshot move down the back. Go with him, Mikey. Fucker. Supposed to be a teammate.
Proceeded on.
Right down the bottom of the race.
There you go. That's a good... Look at Junior roll that center. Pass Harvick and the 55.
If you can run the bottom, if you can run the white line around this joint, then you've got an awesome car, and you're going to make some great time.
Teammates together. Michael Waltrip behind Earnhardt Jr. from the Goodrich, or from Harvick from the Goodrich camp. And a look back from Michael Waltrip's Napa cam. That's Brett Bodine right behind Michael.
Brett Bodine in 11. He was fast in practice yesterday in the final practice, so
Yeah.
he needs a good run.
That's 19, 20, and 21st right there, all running together, and
And William Newman and John Andretti to that group.
still running very well.
Kevin Harvick,
Ugh.
the run he's getting on the bottom. And there we're seeing cars be able to keep that momentum off the bottom.
These cars are harder to drive, but for some reason look like they're more in control. Is that weird?
Let me
That's how it looks to me.
I heard him talking about 88 to 9,200.
Rudd and Jr., fastest cars in traffic right now.
The only thing it saves you is 400 miles. If it's a 500-mile race, you wouldn't be doing that. But here it's only 400. They lean on them pretty hard, and it makes a huge difference.
Blaney and Rudd for
Fucking, how about Spencer bouncing back? I mean, fuck. Spencer's ahead of us. He stayed out under that last caution, of course, but
Rusty, tell us what happened. I'll tell you what, I really don't know what happened. I came down the back straightaway, car's running great. I'm running 10th, I think it was. And all of a sudden, the 66
Ooh,
just
Junior.
right in the back of me and turned me.
Just clear of Blaney.
I don't know what the heck the kid was thinking, you know. I don't know if he got a good run or what he was doing, you know. But drove up under the fuel cell and turned the car sideways in the back straightaway and head on into the wall. Rusty, can you get back in the race? You're in a points race. Yeah, I am in a points race. That's the reason we got one shot to get the thing right. That's NASCAR's rule. So we're bringing it back to get the A-frames put on it, control on, get the thing where I can run it and get some laps. Thank you.
always fun to have to go back out there with a tore up piece of shit and drive somewhere like Michigan. Sterling.
against Jeff Burton, pulling past Burton for third place.
Sterling Marlin and the Ganassi car were getting really fast around this time. The next year, I think Sterling won like 5 races. Jimmy Spencer almost won Bristol in a Ganassi car. They were good for about a 2 or 3 year period. Oh, we got a wreck. And ironically, it's the 66, who Rusty was just complaining about for wrecking him. Another damn caution. Damn, Top of Dime finished 5th at Las Vegas that year? You're kidding.
Remember, he's the one that got in the back of Rusty. Rusty was just talking about Todd Bodine.
Caution at lap 39.
He put the curse of Rusty on him. Johnny Benson still leading.
Lead, Jeff Gordon back to the flag. No driver has yet been lapped on the racetrack, so there's no battle.
Had so many cautions, there's nobody a lap down except the ones in the garage.
I don't know what the rest of the Dodge teams are doing, but I know this cat's got it figured out, and that needs to be their prototype because he's up there every week.
Who does this caution benefit? I know it's 3 of the top 4, but remember, Johnny Benson in the 10, Jeff Gordon in the 24, and Jeff Burton in the 99. We're at lap 40. They were only about a dozen laps away from having to make a green flag stop.
Exactly, and I still have not understood that strategy. Maybe they know something we don't know. Caution felt just about right for them.
See, what happens to Todd Bodine on the right side of your screen?
Now, here he is going
Sorry,
down.
left side of your screen.
Oh, something happened.
Pre-Timmy 66, yes.
I think
We're
that-
pre-9/11, but post-Dale, pre-Timmy Hill on the 66.
Rub that tire and cut that tire down.
It's also pre-Jimmy Johnson.
Isn't there more damage now than there was when he hit Rusty to that left front?
No, I don't. Perhaps not. think there was. There's quite a bit of damage to that fender when he hit Rusty. Caved it in pretty good. I believe that fender rubbed that tire and cut it, and she went down on him.
I think you're right. We're just looking at a different angle here than what we saw previously when it looked like the nose was just barely smushed. Well, that's the 4th caution in only 40 laps of this race.
Makes us look good, doesn't it? We talked about a caution-free race and strategy and all that stuff, but this race...
All these cautions have me confused. We've had like 3 different pit cycles. I just know that the top 5 have not pitted at all, I don't think. I know Gordon hasn't been to pit road. Now he will pit. This should drag everybody with him and get them all back on the same deal, yep. Because even Dale Jr.'s pitting, and he was on a different strategy. So yeah, this caution bit us in the ass, but it helped these guys up front. Just makes too much sense to pit here. They said they wanted to split this race into 3 stops.
Number 36 to pit road. First stop, Mike, they only changed 2 tires. This time they're going to change 4 tires. He's a little bit...
The 48 didn't exist before Jimmy. The first guy to drive the 48 was Jimmy. By the end of 2001, Jimmy Johnson is making a couple of cup starts in the brand new Hendrick 48. I think his first start might be Richmond later in this season. And I think Dale Jr. just took the lead on pit road. Was that 2 tires? I had to be 2 tires for Junior to get that far out. Junior came down pit road about 11th or 12th.
Junior beat everybody off pit road by a mile.
And the reason he did, remember, he was on pit road at lap
2 tires for Dale Jr.
13 laps, gas and go.
Oh, gas and go.
And that's what's making some of
Yeah, I don't know about that, y'all.
tire deals or some no tire deals. That's
They did say they're running a pretty hard tire here compared to years before this at Michigan.
Comes into
But
play.
I'd have put 2 on anyway.
Well, as they say in Motown,
A lot of cautions, a lot of cautions.
4 of them so far.
Here's a recap if you just joined us. Jimmy Spencer.
This is Jimmy Spencer on turn 2, having some problems spinning
And
out.
Kurt Busch overcorrects to avoid Steve Park. Rex. And Rusty gets hooked by the 66. All tore up. 66 blows a tire.
Bodine actually cut down the left front, it appears, and got it turn 2.
At this race here in Michigan, there have been 3 races that have been caution-free. This not one of them. Already 4 cautions within the first 40 laps. The record for this particular race on this track is 8 cautions. Is there a logical explanation, Jeff?
No, there's not a logical explanation. As the guys were saying earlier, it's so hard to figure out what's going to happen at a racetrack, especially when the weather changes like it has here. Maybe it has a little bit
Sun's
to do with
starting
the
to come out, I
tires.
think. It looked like it was going to rain.
Good competition out there. Everybody doesn't want to give any kind of ground today.
And it does shake up the pit strategy, and some of that is going on right now. Let's head down trackside with Dick Berggren.
Well, Johnny Benson had a longer pit stop than they would have liked. This over-the-wall crew has changed several times during this racing season. They are trying to find the right chemistry. Today it's a new jack band. Doug Morgan is on duty for the very first time. Nobody here.
Chad Little drove the 97 before Kurt. I think Kurt made a few starts late 2000, and in 2001 he's in the 97. You saw he wrecked earlier, but Chad Little was in it before him. I have the die cast of that, a 164 of that somewhere. It's number 97 John Deere Ford of Chad Little.
Interesting strategy on the 36 car of Kenny Schrader. His crew chief, Newt Moore, decided to put on 4 tires this stop. The first stop, they only took 2. Next stop, they're planning to take 2 tires. If there's another stop, they're going to go with 4. So 2, 4, 2, 4 for the 36 of Kenny Schrader.
We'll check if Ryan Newman might have taken 2. He's up to 3rd place on the board.
And you know, week in and week out, we say, God, that 10 car, for instance, is so close to winning a race. Wonder why they haven't won one. They run well enough to win.
Ryan Newman, the Rocket Man. I was just talking about Newman earlier, how I was at pole night at Charlotte in 2001 when Dale Jarrett broke his ribs and Ryan Newman won his first pole. Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, Mark Martin, Sterling Marlin, Jeff Burton, Dale Jarrett, Schrader, Tony Stewart, and Johnny Benson in the top 10. Junior on gas only got the lead here. See if how long he can hold it. Earlier when it was Junior and Gordon, Junior fired off really fast and got the lead. Gordon's car takes a couple of laps to come in, not much, about 2 or 3 laps, and Gordon really comes in. Oh, well, it came in quicker that time. Yeah, I didn't like that no tire deal. I'd have taken at least 2.
That's just grip. That's the guy getting back to the throttle quicker and harder.
Junior had 13 laps or something on his tires.
Jeff Burton on the inside, but it's cost him a spot or 2. He's back there battling now.
Chad Little was fucking garbage.
When they put tires on these things, everything
He
changes
sucked
for a
balls.
lap. You just don't know who you
Oh,
got.
Sterling.
Or how close.
Trying to kill another Dale. One Dale in 2001's not enough. He wants Dale Jarrett now.
Here they all go, drafting right by you. It's a lot like Talladega or Daytona. The draft is so effective.
Stewart squeezes up next to him, battling for 8th place. Todd Bodine has come to the garage. Steve is with us.
And he just
Wow, even Todd Bodine's getting interviewed back in 2001.
Yeah, I'm all right. Cut a left front down. Before we get into that, I gotta say congratulations to Ray Bork and the Colorado Avalanche. Way to go, Ray. Yeah, I tell you.
It's 3 wide. Benson, Marlin, and Schrader.
When our luck changes, we're going to be right at the front of the pack every week. K-Mart Blue Light Special.
Hey, Todd Bodine, I bet you won't be at the front of the pack in a cup race anytime soon.
A lot of educated guesses. The car was great. Got all the way to 13th and going outside of Rusty on the back straightaway, and evidently his spotter told him he was clear, and I was up on.
So Todd's saying it's Rusty's fault, or Rusty's spotter's fault.
Driver's track and all, but our car.
Bad driver, great paint scheme. Damn right.
Had to come in and fix the fender, put us
Fucking A.
got coming back up through and got loose, got the car squirrely, and I think it hurt the left front
About a
tire
quarter of the
right
way
there.
through the race, there's been a lot of cautions. So, wow, what the fuck was that? You see that car on the outside? That was Tony. Oh!
All right, thanks, Todd. Back up to Mike Joy.
Oh, man, I'm glad you got back up there. Boys, I'm
Tony Stewart had his life flash before his eyes a couple of times there.
Yes, they are.
And the sun is out.
Up on the outside, and they were too wide underneath him, and Stewart almost paid the price as Marlin and Benson nearly got together.
Tony's still not in the clear. Well, now he's just about clear. Nope, still not clear. The 30's got to run to his inside again. Now he is.
You got to lift out a little bit, and here they all come right around you. Gosh, Daryl, I'm going to have to put a new chip in you. You're bouncing off the rebel.
I know this is the ticker and the leaderboard we used for years, but I don't like it because I can't see the entire top 20. I have to wait for it to scroll.
Making me nervous.
Jeff Gordon is opening up a lead. It was 6
Yeah, Jeff Gordon is out of there.
on Dale Earnhardt.
Consistently been the best car all race.
Let's check him at the line. It's up to 0.8 of a second now. For an update on Dale Jarrett, here's Matt.
Points leader Dale Jarrett. Race the truck. Kevin LePage had one really good year in Cup. Caden, I think 1997, Kevin LePage was like top 10 in points or something. Kevin LePage had a pretty good 97 driving the 16 car. Other than that, I don't think he did shit.
Getting dark and getting darker.
It's only 2 o'clock, so that must mean weather's on the way.
Been watching Mark Martin.
Ooh, I picked a great race because they think it might rain, but spoiler alert, it doesn't. But they think it might rain. So that might be why they're racing so hard. Burton's going for third on Newman. That helps Junior on his no tire fucking strategy that he's going to be stuck on here for this most likely a long green run.
And Benson, and here comes Burt.
Yeah, there's Mark right down there, too, so the Roush car's running pretty good.
Matt Kenseth's 15th, 16th right now.
Close by.
Randy LaJoy was a very good Xfinity driver.
Good day. Because everybody from every motor company is
Hated Buckshot Jones just like everybody else that ever raced with Buckshot. Listen to the Dale Jr. download for more information on that.
You know, it looks easy, doesn't it? Looks like it's a lot of fun. Guess what? Those guys are down in that corner, and they know that they got to keep that thing on the bottom of the racetrack, particularly when somebody's along the side of them.
Entering the corner at over 200 miles an hour. Oh, pretty wide.
After the race, we'll look at Racing Reference to get the real rundown of the results and everything.
Like a butterfly.
And sting like a bee.
Ooh, if you hit that wall.
Oh yeah, you missed it. They had Muhammad Ali's shaky ass out there in the pre-race.
Schrader passes Ryan Newman. That's for 5th place. It's Gordon Earnhardt Jr. Because the first guys coming so fast, I can't pronounce their names.
Here comes that Dodge. It's Sterling Marlin.
Jeff Burton's 3rd. Mark Martin.
Gordon Jr., Jeff Burton, Mark Martin, Ryan Newman.
Jarrett, Benson, and Stewart.
Penske was still Fords at this time. They switched to Dodge in 2003?
Welcome back to Michigan. White Orange Monster over the track.
Or did they switch to Dodges after, right after this? I can't remember. I think they switched right after this. 2002, I think, is when Penske switches to Dodge.
The weather that moves quickly into the Irish Hills of Michigan off to the west. A brief shower early this morning. More weather is on the
Wow, you mean it rained before the race and we didn't have a competition caution? NASCAR, what were you thinking in 2001? They said it rained before the race, but they didn't have a competition caution.
The race being an official race. I mean, our goal is to be here till we see 200 laps, but halfway, lap 100, once you complete lap 101, it is an official race.
Jeff Gordon leading Dale Earnhardt Jr. by a 1.5 seconds.
Gordon stretched it out by another half second during the commercial.
That's the top 5. Out of the race, Kurt Busch and Todd.
Look at them migrate to that high side. You see that? Everybody's starting to run higher and higher.
Going to take a beating in the point standing, which we roared.
Michigan was so good when you could run that high. You can't run that high anymore at Michigan.
Look at it. With the
They killed it. They fucking repaved it and put PJ1 down, and now you can't fucking run up there.
3rd in the point standings. He could fall to 7th or so.
It takes 1 week to lose it. It takes 2 months to get it back. The way the Winston Cup point system is.
Heck, Tony Stewart started off the season in trouble.
Look at Gordon, well up off the bottom,
Back up there.
and the fastest damn car out there.
Away from everybody, and that's what's happening. That's what can happen here when you get up front and you can get out all that traffic. These guys back in here, as long as they stay bunched up, it's hard to make a move. One will pass and the other will pass. One will go high, one will go low, like we said in the opening. But the big thing, once you get out front, you can really cut some good laps.
Shauna Robinson, first woman to drive in Winston Cup since Patty Moise in 1989, and she is running in 40th position, but still on the lead lap.
And, you know, I talked to her this morning, and you know, words of encouragement. Shauna, it don't matter at the end of this day if you're 5 laps down, 10 laps down, or 20 laps down. You just need to be running at the end of this race.
Shauna Robinson.
See, you can't learn anything until you...
Caden, I remember watching this when I was 7 years old with my mom and dad.
You gotta know what the track's gonna do.
I got home from church because they used to force me to go to church with my grandmother.
And you don't learn those if you're in the garage area.
So I would come home sleepier than I was when I woke up that morning. But I would still watch the race most weeks. And I do remember this race. Just not the details. I remember the end.
Moving underneath Dale Jarrett, that's for 11th place.
Well, we got more side-by-side racing here than the last, 5 Michigan races combined.
For the Daytona 500.
And you see how Bill could get under Dale down here in the corner. But Dale's got that high line. He gets the momentum up off the corner. See, Bill was all even with him. This that backwards and forwards seesaw battle.
Ooh, Bill. Bill. Thought Bill was just going to slide up and take him out. SRX driver Bill. There's some SRX guys in this race. Bill Elliott and Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart. This is SRX before SRX. I mentioned that earlier, Larry Mack. I was putting over how awesome Robert Yates engines were at these big racetracks in the 90s and through the early 2000s. You wouldn't get a better engine at a 2-mile or bigger racetrack than Robert Yates engines.
And then you're on the bottom and you come off the corner and say, man, if I just had another inch, oh, it didn't make it, and here you are side by side again.
And here they are, just like Darrell said, side by side.
And you can't quit. I mean, Elliott says, I can't follow him. I'm faster than he is, but I can't get around him.
Right now, though, a car that's faster than both of them is Ricky Rudd, that 28 car, but they're side by side in front of him. He's trying to figure out, okay, wonder which one's going to get the position here.
Yeah, see, what Ricky will probably do is he'll use both of them.
Ricky Rudd. The cars that have passed the most cars have to be Rudd and Dale Jr. And they look good in traffic.
He says, you go on, I'm faster than I am. He loses 3 spots, not 1.
Had a run, and here comes Robert Presley. Of course, Bill could...
I think New Hampshire might have been the best race of the year so far, Caden. I think it might be the undisputed best race this season.
And that they were going to gang up on him.
I really enjoyed New Hampshire. Almirola winning put it over the top, but I just think the racing we saw last week was so good.
Charlotte, top 5 all night long until he got into a crash. They repaired it, brought it here, and he's up there running in the 15th position.
And he finished 5th here last.
At the end of this 2-week break, I'm going to be real happy to be watching a race again.
Movers in the field, Kenny Schrader from 33rd to 4th. Sterling Marlin, Tony Stewart, Presley.
Man, I didn't realize Schrader was running 4th. That's about as good as he has run in quite some time.
You know, some of those games.
Darrell Waltrip giving a backhanded compliment to Kenny Schrader.
Hey, forget what I said about these team cars working together.
There's the 2 Yates cars. One of my favorite paint schemes of all time, that Texaco Haviland 28 car.
That's now for 11th place.
I love that version of it with that number font. I like that better than the Davey Allison one.
The difference in the team cars, more than likely, Jared will let Rudd slide up in front of him and continue on. Where he didn't do that with Bill Elliott.
Schrader going for 3rd.
Schrader got a pretty good hot rod today, doesn't he, Steve?
Hey, sure does, DW. You know, his best finish this year is an 8th in Atlanta. This is the very
And Schrader just passed Jeff Burton for 3rd place.
here at Michigan in April, but the test got snowed out.
I got rained out.
Gordon, Dale Jr., and Schrader.
I was going to go over and help Compton and those guys, knowing we got rained out, they get to run.
And here comes Benson into play.
Kenny Schrader's teammate.
Caden, the 2-week break is something that hasn't happened in years, if it ever happened at all.
And again, 4 seconds.
I don't remember it ever happening before now. Ever since the schedule came out for this year, I was like, God damn it, 2 weeks?
He did last week at Dover. So far, Gordon has led 40.
Gordon, Earnhardt, Schrader, Burton, Benson.
We've completed in the K-Mart 400.
There was Tony Gibson. He's on Jeff Gordon's pit crew.
Welcome back to Michigan International.
Hey, old man.
My Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds, where 66 laps have been completed of the 200. Jeff Gordon a second and a half out in front of Earnhardt Jr. Then this whale of a battle for third place. Benson, Marlin, Schrader, and Burton. Looking back from Johnny Benson and Sterling Marlin, who's trying to take away that third position.
And we're on our longest green run now that we've had this entire race. Zooming in on 23 straight green flag laps, this is when problems are really going to start showing up.
Yeah, and Schrader was right up there.
Okay, now I think this is around the peak of Ward Burton's Cup career. 2001, 2002, Ward Burton won a few races here and there. So yeah, Ward Burton was at the peak of his career around this time in Cup. 01, 02. He wins the Southern 500 later in this season at Darlington. September 2001. We're watching Shauna Robinson running 40th. I'm sure we're all very excited about that.
She's doing 180 to 190, 191. Probably ought to be doing about 195 to 98 right there.
Fascinating.
It's a little bit tight in the center.
A little bit tight in the center. It's a little slow, but then again, she's driving it.
Just driving as hard as I can. I'm not going anywhere. It's just tight. It won't go to the center, but I still feel like I'm not turning enough.
Okay, just don't overdrive it. Drive the car to the car's limitations.
And that's such great advice for her right now. Just don't overdrive. Don't get excited. Just do what you can do with what you got. We'll try to make it better for you on the pit stop.
And what she's describing, it goes hand in hand. Her car is tight. It's not turning. The car is bogging down. And I felt like what she meant by not turning enough is not turning RPMs. It's not running, but it's because it's bound up in the corner.
Yeah, you can't get back to the gas. So you can't. Your corner's a lot shorter than.
Well, here comes Jeff Gordon with a massive fucking lead.
Bad boy here. Now he's turning all he wants to.
Not quite a rewind of last week, but Jeff Gordon has led the most laps thus far today, 51 of them. Johnny Benson's led 11 laps.
Wonderful. Make it to green flag pit stops this run.
Different lines around the corner.
And so is the cat right behind him, Dale Jr. He's been running up high around the top. They've been rim riding. But right now, Jr. dropped down. I believe he cut the lead down just a little bit. There he is, right there.
I think Gordon's just running a pace is why Dale Jr. was able to cut into the lead. They said Jr. changed his line, went to the bottom. I think Gordon's just cutting a pace, running where he's most comfortable.
Jr. didn't get tired.
And yeah, Jr.'s still running second on old-ass tires.
2 cars tires, and that could be making a big difference in the times right now.
1.6 seconds separate the 2 leaders. Jeff Hammond?
Yeah, guys, maybe one of the biggest reasons why Jeff Gordon is trying to get out front, stay out front. I saw a member of their team headed toward the pits with a load of umbrellas and raincoats, anticipating maybe some rain. Big Burton, what you got going on there?
Alleged rain in the forecast.
Jeff Gordon is searching around for a line, and part of the reason he's doing that is that the car is getting tighter and tighter as this run goes on. He is particularly tight on turn 2 and in the middle of turn
Glad I don't have to talk as much since you're all able to watch the race.
in turn 4. So he's trying to find a line that'll get rid of that so he can get still more speed, get still more laps.
Dale Jr. has taken another 0.2 of a second from Gordon's lead as Jeff Green fends off Ricky Rudd.
It's a battle for ninth right there. Jeff Green, another car, another team that we're not even going to run the race here by virtue of rain qualifying, messing up the Dover qualifying. They decided to make this race up by coming here.
You're on board the Home Depot cam of Tony Stewart, who has worked his way past those 2 and up into 8th place. Jarrett with them, Newman as well, and Bill Elliott part of that pack.
A lot of speculation about this 30 car, what's going to happen with it next year. You know, they're going to run 5 more races this year with Jeff Green, but unknown what will happen in 2002.
I mean, you don't have an inside line on that for him?
Yeah, you let me down there.
I think Richard knows I'm a member of the press now. See if he can stay running.
These folks have inside.
Trying to get inside information out of Larry Mack because he used to work at RCR.
Ooh, Jeff Green, a little wiggle there on corner entry for the Busch Series champion.
See, he's 11-7.
These cars look like they're on a rail, but I know these drivers are working way harder than they have to now when they race here.
Right up to the back of the Pontiac.
It's a little draft off the
And they're very drafty. I like how drafty they are. You think they wouldn't be because they're so much smaller, but
Tony goes low.
punch a little smaller hole in the air. But no, they're really drafty.
You go out, the other guy goes low. He come off the corner side by side.
Ricky Rudd's car's hooked up.
Coming off turn 2. Again, this is a battle for ninth. He's going to take the position.
I'll tell you, Darrell, it may be aggravating for the driver, but it sure is fun to watch. Oh, it is. But you just always tell your crew chief, say, tell these guys to leave me alone. Come follow me. Get away. Quit getting this out of me. Ricky Rudd's speed as he comes off the corner.
He had 150s down there in the middle of the corner right before he picked the throttle back up.
Michael Waltrip and Steve Park running outside the top 20 while Dale Jr. runs second. Tell me again how bad Dale Jr. is, everybody. He's driving for a fucking B team and he's running top 5 while his 2 teammates are not even top 20. People talk like Dale Jr. drove for a fucking super team back then when he won all those races. No, he's driving for DEI. DEI was never a super team. I think Jeff Green won an Xfinity championship or 2, I think. 2000-ish, something like that, I don't know.
And that's because the car is pushing, and once it starts pushing, the only thing that's going to fix that...
Man, fuck's sake, we need stage cautions and shit, because at least the cars would be, like, closer together. Because Jeff Gordon and Dale Jr. are so far ahead of everyone. 25 laps to halfway.
By the leader, Jeff Gordon gets to go to school on Gordon here.
Yeah, follow that 24 and watch him before he turns into a dot in your frickin' front windshield. And try to refrain from killing Dale Jr. like you try to do next year at California. Hey, Janet.
If you know, let us know at Fox Sports. We'd like to clear this up.
Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr., Sterling Marlin, Johnny Benson, Ken Schrader, Jeff Burton, Mark Martin, Tony Stewart, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Green. What was it about late 90s and early 2000s NASCAR? It was really 80s, 90s, early 2000s. So many drivers with that same fucking mustache. Jeff Green, Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, Mike Skinner. Everybody, and Ernie Irvin, you know, they all had the same fucking mustache. I remember Dale Jarrett shaving his mustache off around this time, and it was like a earth-shattering event. Dale Earnhardt shaving his mustache in like 1999 was like newsworthy. Earnhardt shaved his mustache before Indianapolis one year because he went scuba diving or something, and his snorkel or whatever wouldn't fit on his face right, so he shaved his mustache.
But she did make the point that they wanted her to wear a pink, I guess, fire suit or a driver's outfit. She said, no, just I want to wear what the usual driver would wear.
She is very, very conscious.
Oh, we got a problem.
She wants to...
Elliott Sadler. Sadler's got a left front. That should be a caution.
We shift gears here. Elliott Sadler with some problems.
By 2021 standards, they'd probably let that stay green until somebody crashes into him. But 0-1, we're going to throw a caution.
I was talking yesterday about tire temperatures, and a lot of the teams were telling me that the left front tire, for some odd reason, was a lot hotter than any other tire in the car, which is totally unusual.
If I'm Dale Jr., I'd pit here. He's been out here on these old-ass tires. Still running second. Might as well pit and keep tires on it. He'll be very happy to get tires on it.
Plus, then some of the guys told me they were sucking that corner down with a lot of fender and a lot of rebound in the shock, so that may have something to do with it, too, trying to keep that nose down on the left side.
Puts us under the 5th caution of the afternoon here at lap 81. We're just 19 laps from halfway. And the skies to the west
with rain threatening.
Somewhat. I mean, we're not going to call this a sunny day.
Oh, no.
But not the dark storm clouds we had a bit ago.
We get this race in easy.
Sadler won Bristol a couple months before this. Started 38th and won Bristol. That was unheard of back then, to start that far back and win Bristol. And John Andretti in the 43 finished second that day. That was another race I remember watching from this year.
See the smoke already coming out from under the car. It's a left front tire that's...
Boy, Bobby Labonte had to get to the bottom.
Well, that's a lot of damage. It almost looks like... I mean, the left front tire blowing out, I guess it could do that much damage to the front of the car, but I'm surprised how much damage is done to the nose.
Gerald, the skid marks from that start, just about 300 feet past the start-finish line. I guess if that carcass gets to wailing...
Between y'all and me, I'm thinking about turning my phone off overnight and ignoring them and not working tomorrow. Thinking about it. Looks sunny on the front stretch, but cloudy everywhere else.
Jeff Gordon is on pit road.
That's not true. He had gas too.
Big piece of plastic that's on the
Hey, you get fresh tires on that 8 car.
They are going to have a problem with him. Pitting right in front of him, Johnny Benson into the number 10 car. And that
Maybe about 10 or 15 birthdays from now, we'll watch Matt Kenseth's last win. Right now, it holds no nostalgia for me. What the fuck happened to us on pit road? We lost like 4 spots. 17-second stop for the 8 crew. Come on, man. Yeah, work on a Sunday. I know, right, Janet? Yes, work on a Sunday. And I'm really not feeling it.
Those guys are really, you know, it makes such a big difference, Larry. You know this.
I'm really not
when the car's
feeling
really good
it.
and everything's going well, how pumped up everybody gets.
it's easy to keep that crew.
I wasn't straight. They tried to get me to work Saturday and Sunday and then keep working Monday, Tuesday. Went, no, fuck that. I'm not working 7 goddamn days in a row and then more.
Amen, brother.
I don't do that.
Jeff Gordon's car to get that piece. I'm not sure if they got it all.
It's like, fucking A.
It was in front of the grill.
That's not going to hurt anything.
I'm about to say Jeff Gordon's got trash on the grill, but like everything else that happened to Jeff Gordon pre-Jimmy Johnson, it was never going to hurt him. Jeff Gordon's luck did not turn until conveniently Jimmy Johnson showed up. And the ironic thing was, it was Jeff Gordon that brought him in.
Welcome back to Michigan International Speedway, where we're working the tail end of the 5th caution of the day.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The first one, spinning at turn 2. Kurt Busch crashing at turn 2. Rusty Wallace crashing in turn 3. Todd Bodine at turn 1. And a left front tire going up on Elliott Sadler's car, bringing out this most recent caution that brought everyone to pit road.
Now, but what we're seeing there is a thumbs up sign that the piece of debris has gone off Jeff Gordon's car.
Okay. Well, Gordon came in and went out first. Dale Earnhardt Jr., though, lost 4 spots on pit road.
And those guys had just right at a 17-second stop.
Yeah, Jeremy Mayfield's still on the 12. Because Ryan Newman's in the 0-2, Rusty's in the 2, and Mayfield's in the 12.
That Gordon group, that 24 bunch.
So a fast pit stop around this time would be like 14.5 seconds.
They ripped off that 14-plus second stop.
Yeah, see, they're talking a 14-second stop in 2001 was fast. Nowadays, it's like a 12-second stop or under 12.
Make a difference. There you see the debris is gone off of the grill.
Yeah, it's hung up here on the hood pin. It's just a little piece of tape or something.
We talk about front downforce. I want you to look how the tape configuration on the top of the grill. They've got the
All right,
left
Larry
side
Mack.
taped up. Reason being, that's the corner you want to plant. That's the corner that makes that car turn. Any tape on the grill, always like to see it on that left side, putting downforce on that left front.
Yeah, it's better to do it that way. Let the air do it than it is to mechanics.
I like how Jeff Gordon's led the most laps, but it's like they've barely talked about him today.
Jeff Gordon been on the racetrack. He's the first
Till
driver
now.
to lead 1,000 laps this season. In second place, Steve Park, less than half that amount.
Damn, Steve Park led the second most laps in 2001 to this point, behind Jeff Gordon. That's a stat I didn't expect to hear.
Goes on the nose of the car, attached to a tie wrap. That was the tuning adjustment they made on the 36 of Kenny Schrader. Dick Berggren.
Johnny Benson looking for his first career win in 175 career starts. Not exactly.
Well, Johnny Benson's going to have to wait a little while longer. That 10 car is awesome. I love those Valvoline paint schemes from back then.
Well, then Mark Martin came in and took out tires.
Mark Martin and the penis peel Ford.
2 rounds of bite in, 1 pound out in the right rear. Marks of the car was just a little bit too free.
How's Bobby Labonte faring?
Let me tell you, when Mark Martin said the car is too free, that baby's just about ready to spin out. Because he can drive one up loose.
I guarantee you that.
Almost 140,000 permanent seats here at Michigan International Speedway, and all they had to sell was the space in front of them because hardly anybody's had a chance to sit down. We're nearing halfway here at Michigan International Speedway.
NASCAR on FX is brought to you by Budweiser. Crisp, deep, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer.
Cleanup finishing up down at turn 1 here at Michigan International Speedway. 86 of 200 laps completed.
It's a lengthy cleanup.
Kurt Busch, age 22. He'll turn 23 later this summer. The oldest driver, Kenny Schrader, turned 46 on May 20.
Mark Martin's car has always looked cool till you remember he's sponsored by a penis pill.
But it's time for Pep Boys Trivia.
Kenny Schrader, the other candy man. Who was the oldest driver to win NASCAR Winston Cup race? Harry Gant. At this point, it was Harry Gant. Mark Martin would break it in 2009, but in 2001, it's Harry Gant.
I know old drivers real good. Harry Gant.
How old was he?
52.
There you go.
52 years.
Harry Gant, Michigan 92. Oldest winner until Mark Martin won at age 53. Or was no, Mark was 52, but he was like a couple of months older than Harry Gant.
Great fall season. I think it was what,
Whatever, it's been a while. Tony Stewart back on pit
Tony
road.
Stewart on pit road as we end this caution period. Steve?
I saw Riley Herbst drive that paint scheme at Darlington this year. He didn't drive anything like the driver behind the wheel of that car did, though.
You gonna be on pit road? You need to leave there every time with that tank completely full.
Let me tell you, many caution laps as we've ridden around here, if I was at probably out of the top 20, I'd be on pit road topping my bad boy up. But that's a smart call by Greg Zipp.
This is back before they would save gas under every single fucking caution, every caution lap. Nowadays, they save constantly, but back then, it really wasn't that big of a deal. For whatever reason, they just didn't think to do it back then. A lot of things weird about this race. No stages, obviously. Single file restarts. Race back to the line if a caution comes out. And oh yeah, Michigan is more than a groove and a half wide. You can actually run the wall here in 2001.
Problem you got now is single file restart. Leaders down here going in.
There's Mayfield and Bobby Labonte. I think Bobby's 5 straight Michigan top 5s is about to end here.
Talk about track temperature. Track's cooling down.
Yes, I remember K-Mart. We had a K-Mart in my hometown. The nearest K-Mart to me just closed about a year or two ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. We had a K-Mart about 25 minutes from here. The one in my hometown's been gone for like 17 or 18 years now. But I remember K-Mart. K-Mart always had a hell of a music section. It was better than Walmart in that regard. I got a lot of Kiss CDs from K-Mart back then. Jeffrey Gordon, Sterling Marlin, and Ricky Rudd. Lap cars on the bottom of Hornaday and Shauna Robinson. That used to be annoying in the old NASCAR games, putting the fucking lap cars on the bottom. I might need a nap after this race. I might nap after the race and then stay up all night. Because I got some video games to play. Like I said, I got Tony Hawk's Underground 2 and Ultimate Spider-Man at Game Haven today.
On the break, Gordon, your leader, Marlon Rudd and Earnhardt Jr.
If Junior could just get the damn track position.
He is on a mission.
Well, now he's on the same tires as everybody else. He's got 4.
See, we got fucking held up by Rudd, and here comes Johnny Benson.
Here comes Benson in the 10. Remember Johnny Benson's very first.
Junior's faster on that outside, though. What kind of run does he get here? Get a draft off the 28, maybe stay in front of the 10. Side draft.
But back in those days, there was no pavement back there. Like what we saw with Jared and Labonte, then it was all grass, and he got off in that grass, and up she went.
Yeah, Kmart. I probably got video games from Kmart for Christmas. I didn't know that they came from Kmart, though. Kmart was basically Walmart, but smaller. But some things you'd find in Kmart that you wouldn't find in Walmart.
8,700 down the backstretch, and that's the short shoot. Yeah. Wait till you get over here.
I hope they stay on Benson's onboard. I want to see what he hits going down the front stretch here into turn 1.
A little bit of brake as he got down in the corner. Just touch that brake.
Oh, it's a confidence thing. The driver's got to know that brake is there. It doesn't have to
193, 195, damn near 200 miles an hour going into turn 1.
Over 8,800 RPMs, right at 200 miles an hour.
And the current Cup car won't hit like 180 there. Fucking stupid. A car from 2001 would blister a current Cup car at Michigan. That's a lot of the same colors on those two cars.
Just for an instant. It really isn't doing anything again, Mike. This is a comfort thing.
Sterling. Jeff Gordon ain't got a big lead now.
Yeah, but the comfort he has is all that open real estate in front of him. That he's had nobody in front of him for most of the day. He's like
led 74 of the 92 laps.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon's kind of stinking up the show. Get after it, Sterling. I'm tired. And look at Rudd go down to give a little pull to the 40. Ganging up on Jeff. You had to gang up on Jeff at this point. Ooh. Entered the corner too shallow, and Jeff came down, pulled some air off of him. And it's bringing Dale Jr. and Johnny Benson right to these guys. Look at the 28. He goes to the 40. Nah, he's going to go 3 wide. Didn't get a run, though. Ooh, Sterling got tight getting into one. Rudd's been rolling the center all day. Loose. And now Dale Jr.'s there. Hello. You won't get a battle like this at Michigan in a couple of weeks, I promise you. Hey, Junior up to third.
That's what frustrates you. The smart guys know what to do. If you get back in here a little further, they don't always seem like they know what they want to do. If a guy catches you, there's a reason. Yeah, let him go. Follow him. He's faster.
Now, the fellow who's been leading the second pack, Mark Martin, has now backed up to 11th place. Matt?
Mike, on Mark Martin's last pit stop, he entered pit road in the 8th position. Nothing wrong with the pit stop as far as the over-the-wall guys, but during that stop, the wedge wrench broke in the back window. They lost some time.
Ain't that a bitch?
For a second or so trying to get this wedge wrench out of the back window.
Mark Martin doesn't have a very good 2001 or 2002, other than winning the Coke 600 in 2002. No, it was 03 where he had a bad year. Terry Labonte with the coolest paint scheme in the field. I've got that die cast in the living room unopened. They're great. Yeah, Watkins Glen is the next race. But I have a 164 of that Terry Labonte car right there. Got it at Walmart that year. Dave Blaney's having a decent run.
The leaders are long gone.
It's the reason the work from full no pit road can be so important. Don't get me back in this traffic.
No. The two Bill Davis cars working.
Gordon's still in front of Sterling, and now they're driving away from Junior again because they're not side by side.
Front 6 and the pack.
Just so you know, all those first 7 cars, those first 7 cars are all running the same speed on the clock. All of them are running in the 50s. 40, 50.
3 laps to halfway when they come around. That's Kevin Harvick.
Boy, it's hot in here.
Bill Elliott, Harvick, the subject of NASCAR Victory Lane tonight at 9 on Fox Sports Net. They'll give him the whole weekend. You'll follow Kevin Harvick and what a Winston Cup driver goes through on a race weekend. That's the 10th place race. I don't know if I was Harvick. I don't know if I'd take on the lead right there.
He'd rather reach over and punch him out. I know if Ali was in there, that's what he'd do.
Muhammad Ali couldn't even stand up straight in that pre-race. I don't know what they're talking about.
12 rounds or 200 laps, whatever comes first here at Michigan. 2.5 laps to halfway. Jeff Gordon leading Sterling Marlin by just a matter of 2 car lengths, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. looking in. It's about 1.2 seconds from the leader to 4th place, Ricky Rudd, then Johnny Benson, Jeff Burton, and Dale Jarrett.
Halfway.
On FX.
Halfway, and we're an hour and 26 in.
Welcome back to the K-Mart 400, Michigan International Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. And after 101 laps, the race official, Jeff Gordon leading Sterling Marlin. And Jeff Hammond, we talked in the pre-race show about the, at least in the manufacturer's point race, the Chevy slightly leading Ford, but Dodge has not won a race this year. He said they'll at least win a couple. When we talked to Ray Evernham, he said, look, we're a third of the way in the first season of what is a 5-year plan. Even though they made a splash at Daytona, they've yet to win a race.
Well, you sit here right now, you watch the Sterling Marlin. We touched on the fact that team has been very, very consistent all year long. A couple times early this year, he was in a position to win a race, and here we find him again. Halfway through this race, he's in position once again.
Ward Burton's 11th. Your great rival, Caden.
Giving Dodge a break with an engine block that would weigh or have a lighter weight. Explain how that would benefit the team.
This is a new, total totally new package that Doc
I just
put
like to point
together.
out that Dale Jr.'s third and his two teammates ain't doing shit.
Pounds more than the other competitors as far as Ford or Chevrolet. And they've been trying to work a way to make the block lighter. But because of the way NASCAR does things, you have to get approval on it. They didn't have time to go back and redefine the block and make it lighter. They finally got it, I think, to the point where they're happy with it, and they've submitted it to NASCAR for approval. So if they approve it, then they'll get a chance to make the car a little bit lighter on the nose.
While we're talking engines, you got to look at the Bill Elliott, of course, who has 7 victories here, the most of any active driver. How about the NASCAR consideration on the idea of using a single engine for weekends?
Again, it's another one of those efforts.
They're talking about how they're going to go to the rule where if you change engines, you got to start at the back. You can only use one engine per weekend because Dale Jr. blew a motor in practice and switched and didn't have to go to the back for this race because that was the way the rules were back then. You could change motors anytime before the race and be okay. Nowadays, not allowed.
I think you'll start out with some of the half-mile races.
And I kind of understand why it's not allowed.
See how it does, get an assessment on it.
I guess.
Kevin Harvick, you got to look, and don't forget NASCAR Victory Lane on Fox Sports Net tonight at 9 o'clock, the All Access Pass this weekend.
And Sterling will not go away. Neither will Junior.
Here in Michigan. Let's go back upstairs to Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, and Mike Jones.
A 3-car battle where you actually believe that one of these guys could actually pull out and pass the motherfucker.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has caught Jeff Gordon and Sterling Marlin.
He's been running right around the bottom of this racetrack. He's been gaining on these guys about a tenth and a lap, and he's right on the back of him right now. You see Ricky Rudd.
And Ricky Rudd is lurking.
He's eating up there as well. For the Rusty Wallace fans, he's back on the racetrack, some 80 laps down, just trying to make circles, make laps, make a few points.
Yeah, and Dale Jr., he can get down real low in the middle of both corners, but he's got to have the whole racetrack to make that work. When he exits the corner, he's got to be able to go all the way out to the wall, and that's going to cause him some problems when he starts getting up.
You know what's funny? The quality of this YouTube video we're watching looks like shit on my television, but it looks pretty good on my phone.
Now Ricky Rudd is closing. He was a second off the lead that lap. There goes Marlin. He's got a pretty good run off it too.
Is Sterling going to get it this time? Nope.
Had to fall back in line, but he had a heck of a run. He gets off at 2, he gets off there strong, stronger than the 24 does.
Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, he keeps running the high side.
It's a Dale Earnhardt's fan nightmare. It's Jeff Gordon and Sterling Marlin.
Through 3 and 4, but he drifts it up right there off turn 4. Keeps those RPMs.
And then that fucker Ricky Rudd that cost Earnhardt the championship in '89's back there.
Even when you're following him and when you're watching him like we are, how much does he have left? Is he just keeping everybody at bay? Is he just sitting there and just letting everybody run behind him? Can he, when he comes time, step it up a notch?
And you see here on Fox Tracks, Ricky Rudd had that interval down inside of 1 second. Now it's pretty stable. Let's see what he does. Coming off turn 2 has been Rudd's strong spot.
The only guy in those 4 cars that I know isn't holding back anything, he's in that red car with 8 on the side of it. And he isn't holding back nothing.
Junior was young and dumb and sometimes drove like it.
This racetrack's so smooth, and you just always love coming here because, again, the character.
Junior really wasn't that young. Junior, his rookie year, was 26 years old.
Right around the bottom all the time.
So Junior in this race is actually the same age as me, roughly.
Oh, I can't tell you how many times I've had Jeff or whomever call in and say,
This is before we started getting cup drivers at 19 or 20 years old that had no fucking business being out there. Anthony Alfredo.
Now watch the 5, Terry Labonte, and the 30 of Jeff Green. They're about a lane and a half above Mayfield and Lady. The cars
Once again, tell me why Anthony Alfredo has a cup rod. It's not a good one, but why does he have one?
Like the racetrack isn't wide enough.
well, they keep going up, and something's going to get in their way here before long. Here he goes, there's 5 up.
They're right up there.
They're all running on different agendas.
They're way up. They're just about out of racetrack up there in the Harry Gant crew. Close there with Mayfield.
Boy, Mark's got, I don't know what Mark
12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, they're all on top of each other.
This is a battle 12th through 20th.
12th through 20th, look at that.
18 car right up in the middle of that pack, too.
Now here's Jeff Burton at 6th place.
Which is a great run for this team. Boy, they really struggled.
Jeff Burton won the 2001 Coke 600 that year.
He had never run that bad in his life.
I do believe.
Well, better this week, Dick Bergman.
And we're listening
listening to Jeff Burton and Frank Stoddard have conversation back.
Frankie Stoddard, that annoying-ass Yankee motherfucker. You ever heard Frankie Stoddard talk? I don't know how Jeff Burton, who's from Virginia, could understand him talk on the radio.
I'm going to land somewhere in Ann Arbor. There was silence for a couple of laps. Then, as Burton started to close in a little bit on Johnny Benson, Stoddard got on the radio and said, "Go after him like a dog, trying to get a doggy bone." Well, it didn't work out. A few laps after that, Frank Stoddard kind of gave up. Got on the radio and said, "I know the track is getting tighter. Maybe we should have done more." Driver and crew chief.
Well, we'll have a couple more chances. There's where the Roush cars are today.
Not a good day for Roush other than Jeff Burton. Kurt Busch got wrecked. Kenseth kind of middle of the pack. Matt Kenseth has a bad 2001. He goes winless. Mark Martin's 12th. Kenseth would get it turned around in 2002, though. He has a really good 02, but his 01 is not good at all.
He gets on you, you get on him, but at the end of the day, you're both out there trying to accomplish the same goal.
But the first thing you accomplish as a driver and a crew chief, you've got to be good friends.
Just think, somewhere during this race is some kid reading Game Informer who's excited that Grand Theft Auto 3 is coming out in the fall. 2001's a wild time. I was about to mute the TV when it went to commercial, but I forgot the commercials were cut out of this, so saves me the trouble.
Wrapped around with NASCAR Victory Lane and the Winston Cup Series race from Pocono on Fox, the mothership, with the pre-race show at 12:30 Eastern Time. Jeff Gordon leading, Sterling Marlin, as we look in 115 out of 200 laps.
And as we think about the dominance, Jeff Hammond, of Jeff Gordon in Delaware last week, how do you relate that to what he's doing here?
Well, I was one of the
I like how Sterling can get that close, but then he can't make the pass. And Jeff Gordon's about to have clinched leading over half the fucking race. Dale Jarrett came into this race with a 50-point lead. He's running 8th, and Gordon's led over half the race.
3, 4, 5 weeks in a row, so somebody needs to get up there, challenge him, and make sure they can't keep this momentum sustained.
It's worth pointing out 2 victories after 13 races when he won an amazing 13 races in '98. After 13 races in that season, he had only 3 wins. So if he keeps up this pace, he certainly could be dominant. And one more win here would give Hendrick Motorsports' Rick Hendrick his 100th career victory.
Yeah, and while you're touching on that right there, Chris, let's say one more time that our wishes here at Fox Sports go out to Papa Joe Hendrick. Had an opportunity to work with Rick Hendrick, Hendrick Motorsports, and got a chance to know Papa Joe very well. And as Darrell was talking about earlier,
Yeah, Hammond was Darrell Waltrip's crew chief at Hendrick in the late 80s.
get well, buddy.
Let's go back upstairs to Mike. And let's bring you up to speed where Ricky Craven is not. Craven is off the pace. He's dropped down.
Rudd passed Junior for 3rd during the commercial.
Gordon and Sterling Marlin. We've run 117 of 200 laps. 5 cautions so far. The first for Jimmy Spencer at lap 2. Kurt Busch crashed. Rusty Wallace crashed after contact with Todd Bodine, who then brought out his own caution, and then Elliott Sadler. Jeff Gordon has now led 99 laps, 11 for Johnny Benson, 4 for Earnhardt Jr., Rudd, Marlin, and Buckshot.
Even though Gordon's led over half the race, we've had a lot of different leaders.
Another dominant performance so far.
And he gives a lot of credit to the motor department over at Hendricks. He said that those guys, he got beat at California when Rusty was just beating him down the straightaway like a drum. He said that his guys didn't like it, went home and worked on the motor.
But you know, in 16 races, he's only finished out of the top 15.
Somebody pitting back there.
Quite a record.
Yes, it is. Here your top 10 cars cycling through with Gordon and Marlin in very close contact. And the rest of the field kind of struggling to keep up. Sterling Marlin has now led 12 of the 14 races this season.
After going a lap down.
Sterling's led 12 out of 14 races, but somehow Steve Parks led more laps. Ricky Craven's got the hood up. Oh well. This is back in the day when shit would actually break on these fucking cars. And the fact that these races were endurance races actually meant something. Nowadays, nothing breaks, which is a good thing, I guess. But the cars are so easy to drive and nothing breaks, it kind of takes the endurance factor out of modern NASCAR on big tracks anyway.
2 seconds off the lead. But he has them in sight. Back behind him, Johnny Benson. trying to climb back up. And here's Kevin Harvick in 6th.
And he has one of the fastest race cars on the racetrack. He's keeping tempo with that leader, Jeff Gordon.
7th and 8th are Burton and Jarrett.
Oh, Sterling's making another run. But he gets loose. He got a little loose off of 4.
He's found a little something, I believe. He's really close right up on the back bumper of the 24 car. Steve, what are they saying down there?
Well, DW, it's funny you mentioned that. Sterling just radioed in to Lee McCall and Tony Glover and said that he was a little bit tight off the corner. And they did make that suggestion to move the car around a little bit. Told him just remain focused on the job at hand.
Jeff Gordon, the pole winner. Now, the pole winner has not won a Winston Cup race. It's Tony Stewart at Martinsville.
Now Sterling's trying a different approach, going to the outside. And they go to commercial. God damn it, Fox. Well, I guess we want to see what happened. And look, Sterling got the lead during commercial. It's just like modern day. Not much has changed in 20 years. Fox cut to commercial right as Sterling got to Gordon's outside. Oh, he makes the pass the next lap. The fuck is Darrell Waltrip talking about? And this is back when Darrell Waltrip was good at his job. And now Ricky Rudd's caught them both.
Everybody was on pit road at lap 181, or lap 81 when the last caution was out, and we're at lap 125, somewhere around lap 30, they'll be on pit road.
Pretty good little mix here, guys. Got a Dodge leading, got a Chevrolet running second, got a Ford running third. Where's that Pontiac yet?
Not sure whose radio that was, but one of those cars is coming in 2 laps.
Yeah, sun's out now.
About right. It was Jeff Gordon. That's about
They're about
right.
to start
I tell you,
pitting.
that's gonna hurt Jeff, 'cause
By the way, I've been playing that new SRX racing game, running super late models and shit, and sometime this week, I would like to stream some super late model races in the SRX video game, because I'm having a lot of fun with it.
That's gonna be hard to deal with.
So that'll be a stream that sometime this week. Chaos Mod, SRX, super late models, and maybe Batman Arkham Origins on PC, because I've been thinking, I'd forgotten about that till recently. Lord, I hope I get the time to stream plenty this week. Junior's pitting. I love that 8 car so much. Anybody want to buy me Dale Jr.'s 2001 Dover Race Win diecast? Because I saw it when I was at Charlotte and didn't get it because I'm stupid. But I love that car. Junior's car just fucking stalled. Well, now I know why we don't get anywhere close to winning this race. Junior ran out of gas, and it stalled. Well.
Here comes Gordon, and those crewmen have to scatter. Take Bergman.
Jeff Gordon had just come on the radio a little bit before this pit stop and said that he was having to run incredibly hard to stay in front of the 40 car. He did not do that. Just couldn't stay out there. So they're going to take 4 times, put 1 round in the right rear on this race car. Hey, terrific over the wall crew. Gordon gone at just a little over 15. Steve.
And Harvick on pit road at the 29. Harvick. Ron Auto, Mike Cook and Shady Tires. No chassis.
Hell, Harvick's out of gas, too. Why do these guys run it so long? You can't make it from here anyway. Crew chiefs in 2001 were stupid. There was no reason to run that long there because you can't make it from here. Now you get inside of 50 to go, then you can make it.
Tony Stewart, Jimmy Spencer, the 40 and the 28 are still out there, so those guys are stretching this fuel a little further than what Gordon can. That could be important.
Mike Skinner in as well. So
Here comes the 28 in.
Casey Atwood.
And Gordo's right here behind him.
Darrell just called him Gordo.
In case there be a caution right now.
Me and Anthony used to call him El Jefe. Jeff Gordon, El Jefe. Oh, Rudd had to stop to get in his box. He had to miss Jeremy Mayfield. That motherfucker's nickname is Fatback. Fatback McSwain. Is there a crew chief with a worse nickname?
Kind of from getting into his pit box.
Sterling Marlin, our leader, the 40 car, the Coors car, he's on pit road.
Watch this, Larry. I mean, the 20. Here's the 12. He gets in his way. He's got to check up. Look, he locked the right front up.
Some things never change in racing. That shit still happens to this day during green flag pit stops and shit like that.
The 26 kept him a little on the shy side.
And it just throws that whole crew's tempo off.
He made a great stop. Good comeback.
Sterling Marlin is in. Steve is there.
Mike, they do it terrible.
Hey, I got a great idea for everybody watching the stream.
Are gonna make a wedge adjustment.
How about everybody donate some money so I don't have to work tomorrow? I'm kidding.
Already on. Rick Rand, the Jackman. 88 also in. They make the chassis adjustment, and Sterling Marlin is done on pit road.
Shauna Robinson in, Buckshot Jones, Bobby Labonte, and Steve Park has come back in for a stop-and-go penalty and is now sent out.
Boy, Marlin must have had a terrible pit stop. He couldn't have been very good because those 24 and 28 have already blown by him, and he's just coming up to speed.
And remember, the 24 car, Jeff Gordon, those guys were on pit road first. Got a little advantage with those fresh tires.
And the leader of this race becomes Matt Kenseth.
Matt Kenseth leading. Hey, look out, Matt Kenseth.
Trying to stretch his fuel mileage.
Having a crappy day, but he's leading.
Teams have increased their fuel mileage programs.
Speaking of Roush, his teammate Mark Martin.
Mark Martin's pitting.
He comes with the pit
Dick
pit.
Mobile, Mark Martin.
Lap 132.
And Sterling lost about.
These pit stops look so fucking slow compared to now. It's crazy how slow they are. What time do I have to work? Who fucking knows? Could be 7, could be 8, could be 9, could be 6:30. I don't know. I just really wish I had the strength to say no.
Subbing for Joe Nemechek in the Andy Petrie car, and the word is that Nemechek may not be back until Daytona, 4th of July holiday weekend. Jeff Hammond?
Yeah, Mike, the one thing I'm noticing here, the guys that are stretching the fuel, in my mind, what they're trying to do is get it down to where if this thing stays green, and they do have to come down for that last splash of gas, that they can go with just one can and possibly just put 2 tires on the car to get it the rest of the way home. The guys that got to stop a little sooner would have to go for that second can, which could take them a little longer and make a difference here at the end of the race.
That's exactly right, Jeff, because again, if you get to that 175 lap mark with 25 to go, anything after that would be just one can.
Jason Leffler is the last car to
Jason Leffler. Remember when I said at the start of the race, a fun thing to do would be to count the dead people on this broadcast? Well, I've counted 2 so far. 3, actually. Bobby Hamilton, Steve Burns, and Jason Leffler. So I have counted 3 dead people.
to the car stalling on pit road.
Anytime you watch something from more than 20 years ago, you can go back and count the dead people.
Welcome back to Michigan. Yeah.
Matt Kenseth still ain't pitted?
The last driver to stop. Matt Kenseth is still out there. He
How about that?
He has not been on pit road in forever.
They've been running like shit today, so they might as well try something. Fuel mileage deal. They're coming up on 60 to go. He would almost be able to pull this off to make it to at least the end of the race.
That's a telltale he can do it on one more stop.
He's going to do it. I guarantee you that.
Problem is, he's a second half slower than second place Jeff Gordon, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it depends on, if he's track position is going to mean everything, but he had the car to do it with to make it on one more stop.
Now Jeff Gordon is 9.8 seconds behind Kenseth in second place. Kenseth is the only driver we're aware of who has not made a pit stop under green in this segment.
And we're coming to lap 139.
Oh, yeah, another thing to remember here. While Matt Kenseth is still running out there, not pitting, with almost half the field a lap down, there were no free passes. If a caution came out and you were a lap down, too fucking bad. You're a lap down. No free passes in 2001. Junior said he thought he was blowing up.
They lost so much time they didn't want to take any more time to put on tires.
Jeff Gordon has just come on the radio and said,
Well, that's a real goddamn bummer because their whole days went to shit now. Junior's not even going to be in the top 20.
raced 3 times in the 8 fire times he has started. His crew chief, Robbie Lewis, has just come over the radio and said, Jeff, you're flying. Don't use it up. To Steve Burns.
Good God, Junior's back there running with his teammates. That's embarrassing.
Pit road, in addition to a wedge adjustment, they also made an air pressure adjustment, and Sterling Marlin did not like the changes or the way it feels in that number 40 car, he's already talking about air pressure adjustments on their next pit stop.
Fuel mileage, function of three things. How efficient is the engine? How much gas is in the tank, which is limited to 22 gallons? And one thing we've not talked about is how much of that 22 gallons can be picked up out of that fuel cell and transmitted to the engine.
We just completed that 141. That's 59 to go. That's 60 laps. Come to pit road, Matt Kenseth. There's no need running any further. No need to stretch.
But Larry, that's a car that's getting every drop out of that.
That's a lot of fuel mileage.
A product is so many things, and you got to plan it, as we said earlier. Could be a little different carburetor combination. Got
Oh,
the
John
engine
Andretti,
way
yeah.
back. All kinds of
Nearly
things
won
like
Bristol
that.
this same year.
But the hopes always is, as you said, Mike, the fuel cell holds 22 gallons. We always have hoped through big fuel line, long fuel line, we get another gallon. He's coming to pit road. He's listening to us, Steve.
There you go. Yeah, no need going any further, young man.
Well, he's made it interesting, that's for sure. 59
Matt
to go.
Kenseth made it to 58 to go before he finally pits.
Matt Yoakum, can he make it on one stop?
Well, Larry, he's making his way into his pit stall. That's the game plan down here in the 17th.
I love the strategy. Spoiler alert, I know what's going to happen at the end, but I love that Kenseth's guys are doing that. We're starting to get to the part of the race that I actually remember from when I was like 7 years old. Horribly slow pit stop for Matt Kenseth.
19.6 seconds.
Yuck.
I just about blew any plans he had, Larry, because he lost so much time.
Yeah, we'll have to see when he gets back.
Junior's engine must be laying down because not only did Junior drop back to the 20s, he's getting passed by junk cars back there. So, yeah, I think Junior's motor's blowing up. I honestly did not remember what happened to Junior in this race. I know he had one of the best cars and doesn't end up winning, so now we know why. Junior's got a bad motor. But I don't think anybody's going to beat Gordon or Ricky Rudd here anyway. Gordon, Ricky Rudd, and Sterling Marlin and Dale Jr. were the class of the field, and Junior's motor's laying down.
He didn't get the handle tightened up. That happens from time to time with Jack, man, and he couldn't get the car up off the ground, which really hurt the left side tire change.
Jeff Gordon is back in command. He's led 104 laps today of the 143. But with all the different strategies in play, folks, this is far from over. We'll be right back to Michigan in a moment. This is NASCAR on FX.
Last quarter of the race, Gordon, Rudd, Marlin, Johnny Benson, Jeff Burton. Johnny Benson's been so good in this race.
Welcome back to Michigan.
2001 was the best year of his Cup run.
That dark cloud system that was coming toward the racetrack veered away, and there's sun on the racetrack.
Oh, it's a bright, sunshiny day. Good day for a race in Michigan.
54 laps to go. Jeff Gordon back out in front, and pit stops and the pit sequence. Part of the reason why.
Sterling Marlin came in leading the race. He just passed Jeff Gordon before pit stops, and something bad had to happen to Sterling Marlin to lose so much time. And I think if you look at what Larry is circling there, ins and outs.
Look at Ricky Rudd there. What a difference that made. That's the reason he's in second place right now.
That's the number of seconds from the start-finish line around into the pits, out of the pits, and back to start-finish.
And remember, Harvick, the reason his time was so slow, stalling it on pit road, his crew having to push him made a big difference.
There's a look at Kevin Harvick, who's presently in 7th place and alone on the racetrack. About a second.
Like I said, that 29 car looked better with black on it, black numbers. I saw that die cast at Charlotte, and I wanted to buy it so bad, but I'm not a Kevin Harvick collector. I didn't want to waste money on a Harvick die-cast when I'm all about collecting Dale Jr. bullshit.
Robbie Reiser is talking about on the radio right now, giving them lap times, that a 19-second change pit stop. Robbie, are you good to go the distance?
We're going to go the distance. Our only chance of winning, so that's where we're going to go here.
You were calculating the mileage?
Matt Kenseth's the one car that's just straight up not trying to pit again.
Right there. We're right at the end.
They're going to roll the dice, Mike.
They are expecting that every other car will have to make one more pit stop, and they will not.
I believe that was a really great strategy, but that long pit stop, that track position, that's going to hurt him.
And of course, the other thing that's going to hurt him is if a caution comes out, because he's a lap down right now in 27th position. And, you know, he's running about a 10th off the leader, but the big difference is going to be a lap down, or if that caution comes out.
You're not going to beat Jeff Gordon in that crowd until you can do everything right. He's got an awesome race car. He's an awesome race car.
Well, DW, in about 1 year's time, there will be another driver at Hendrick that does everything right. And then it's all downhill from there for Jeff Gordon. That was Steve Letart's fat ass. You see how fat Steve Letarte was? Steve Letarte was a fucking big boy. Okay, Letarte was fat as shit back then. He didn't lose weight until like 2010 or 11. Steve Letarte was chunky. And credit to him, he's kept it off because Letarte's still pretty small. But boy, back in 01, he was sitting on that pit wall just now, spilling over both sides, exploding out of his fire suit. Booby La Booby. Where's Booby La Booby running? He's had a bad day.
Champion of a year ago would be having a season that they would have to call struggling.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they just had...
Ah, yes, thus begins the downfall of Bobby LeBed. It started all the way back in 2001. His last cup win is 2003, but boy, they won that championship in 2000 and never even fucking came close again after that to being that good.
A look at Jimmy Maycar. Looking things over from the pit box. Jeff Gordon keeps mowing them down. He's trying to put Robert Presley, the 23rd place car, a lap down.
All right, we talked a few minutes ago.
Dale Jr.'s motor's getting worse and worse. He's back there with Kyle Petty now.
Okay, here, but look at the difference. Track temperature from where we started, 108 now, but just remember, halfway, about 50 laps ago, it was down to 96 degrees. These cars are not going to grip as good. The track is as hot as it's been the entire event.
And Rudd is closing ever so slightly. I guess that's probably the best car on the track right now, Ricky Rudd.
The gap 1.7 seconds last time by. Jeff Gordon to Ricky Rudd, first to second with 49 laps to go here in the Irish Hills of Michigan on FX.
Jeff Gordon, Ricky Rhodes, Turtle Marlin, Johnny Benson, Jeff Burton. Same top five we've had for a while now. I'm trying to remember if this race goes green all the way.
Jeff Gordon leads Ricky Rudd by
We got 45 to go. I can't remember if it goes green or if there's another caution or whatever.
5 seconds off the lead.
If a caution comes out now, they could make it from here.
Jeff Burton, the fifth place car, 14 seconds behind Jeff Gordon.
Whatever they did to Sterling's car, if it was an air pressure adjustment, woo, I bet they wish they hadn't done that.
He's over 3/10 slower than the leader right now, Jeff Gordon.
Look at where our Cook family of drivers sit in the point standings coming into Michigan here. Ricky Rudd, sixth in the points, second in this race. Among them.
Ooh, the Coca-Cola Racing family. It's just Kyle Petty's 44th. There's only 43 cars in the race. Kyle Petty's so bad he's running 44th in a 43-car race, according to that graphic.
That's flames coming off the back of that bad boy.
Remember those Pit Boys commercials from this time? It's a damn shame commercials are cut out of this broadcast. That'd be a real nostalgia trip to see the commercials from 2001. I wouldn't skip them. I would watch at least a few commercial breaks to see what was going on back then.
Is having a lot to do with some of these cars kind of backing up.
And that's something Jeff Gordon, Robbie Loomis, that group has always done a great job at, is adjusting to the track.
Vortex Theory kept the rain away. Thank you, Darrell Waltrip. Kevin Harvick's in the top 5 now. He's been a ghost all day. Not just because he's in a white car. Junior's back on pit road with his shitty motor. Thanks a lot, DEI. Had a top 3 car and we're fucking around with a bad motor.
Now those tires have had enough.
And he was going to have to make one more stop. I'm sure this is what he wanted to make it, but this will be good for the end of the race now.
Excuse me. Gordon's lapping Mikey. SRX driver Michael Waltrip. Like I said, we've got a few SRX drivers in this race. Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart, Michael Waltrip, Bill Elliott. A third of the SRX field is in this fucking race we're watching right now. Think about that.
We only have 2 Insta Cup races left on Fox. Nobody's allowed to pick Gordon.
Okay, that's the deal.
After today.
Not even Hammond.
Not even Hammond.
No, right.
But Darrell now is going to have a secret meeting.
That's good to know.
I think everybody's picking him at serious points.
I'm really glad you guys can see the race. I don't have to talk as much.
Hey, Darrell, I'll ask you one of the questions because we're making these rules up. What happened to the
I wish I could do this every week, but I can't. It's a no-no.
Did I say 8?
I thought you said 20. No, did you say 20?
I said 28. That's fine. Now you want to get on my bandwagon. I don't ever want to be on your bandwagon. Why would I say 8? Give me a break.
Back the tape and let
Darrell Waltrip's all tore up right now.
41 laps to go at Michigan.
40 to go.
On FX.
Everybody's got to pit one more time. Except for Junior and Matt Kenseth, but Junior's motor's laying down and Kenseth's fucking slow, so it doesn't matter.
Jeff Gordon, that's likely what Robert Yates and Rex crew chief Michael McSwain are talking about.
Thank you, DEI, for another great engine.
They've been running a lot.
Anybody at DEI have more engine failures than Dale Jr.?
Rudd is a 1.5 seconds
There's Shauna Robinson getting in the fucking way.
Robbie, when will you pit and what will you do?
Mark Martin getting lapped. That's depressing. By the way, Hendrick's going for their 100th win here if Jeff Gordon wins this. Wink, wink. If. Play along. Let's just say if Jeff Gordon wins.
We're going to try to play this thing all the way to the end as long as we can. Somewhere between 175 and 185. We're going to pit.
Look at the crew chief straight up telling the TV broadcast what they're going to do. You wouldn't get that shit nowadays. They'd be like, oh, I don't know what we're going to do. Code words. But crew chiefs back then didn't give a fuck about saving gas. They'd tell you their fucking strategy on television. A fast pit stop was 14.5 seconds. 9/11 hadn't happened yet. Have I mentioned that before today? Post Dale Earnhardt, but pre 9/11. Where were you guys earlier in the race? I was bored early in the race. You going to come back tomorrow? Because after work tomorrow, if I'm working tomorrow, I'm going to stream another race.
Pit reports were very informative, weren't they? Did we learn anything?
Yeah, we're going to come in and we're going to do something. We're just not sure what.
I love it.
And we don't expect these to be these guys' last pit stop.
Dale Jarrett, Kenny Schrader, Kyle Petty. That's their last pit stop of the day.
All lap down now, but first half of this race was right in contention. Mark Martin
You think you feel old?
Kyle Petty is in.
I remember watching this.
But you know, Darryl, these guys are going to have to pit with 20 or 25 to go. They're going to have almost one can of
What the
fuel.
fuck is that flying across the bottom of the screen? Y'all see that?
At least 2 right side tires. You're almost like 3.
About 4:30 or so, Chris. 4 or 4:30 like today. I told everybody the last few days, I said, look out for me between 4 or 4:30. Maybe before 5. Sometime after 4. Same time tomorrow, basically. Watching the Jeff Gordon show.
Cars with the exception of Jarrett there, so it may not influence the leaders to come in a little earlier than planned. 34 laps to go.
Boy, they're getting them commercial breaks in. Fine by me. Still Gordon, Rudd, and Marlin. 3 of the 4 best cars all day. Because like I said, Dale Jr. was just as fast as them. Oh, God. Wait, what? What did Chris Myers say? It's 2001. We're a long way from 2016, thank Christ. I'd give anything to go back to 2001 after the hell of the last 5.5 years. Harvick on pit road. That would be a penalty for driving too many pit boxes now, what the 30 just did. But 2001 were simpler times. That's a blue line violation on Kevin Harvick. I don't want to alarm you guys, but this race was over 20 fucking years ago. I do not want to alarm you, but it was 20 years ago. I think Dale Jarrett's going to lose the point lead here and probably never get it back again based on what happens. And Junior's motor just blew up. 28 to go and Junior's motor. How's that not a caution? There you go. Caution's out. 28 to go. Right in the middle of a pit cycle. But that's good for Jeff Gordon, Ricky Rudd, and Sterling because they stayed out and trapped almost everybody a lap down. Pretty sure Bill Elliott was just speeding to get off pit road and stay on the lead lap. You've got mail. But this works out great for Gordon, Rudd, and Sterling. No free pass because it's 2001.
Now we're going to rack them up. Got all these fast cars on the inside on the restart.
Harvick, Green, Bobby Labonte, and then Mike Skinner, And the drivers I just mentioned just all.
Don't worry, a couple weeks after this, Dale Jr. would do something really awesome. So his motor blowing here is of no concern to me. Dick Berggren with I've got that Earnhardt hat that Berggren's wearing. I've got one of those in the living room. Fun fact, I have one of those hats.
He says the car is a little loose at the beginning of the run, but it dials in very good to Steve. Well, Matt Sterling Marlin at 40, they're going to make a wedge adjustment. Air pressure, Sterling said it's a little bit too tight, especially coming off turn 4.
11 cars on the lead lap. Jeff Gordon, Ricky Rudd, Sterling Marlin.
11 cars on the lead lap, and that's it. After that long run and a caution in the middle of pit stops, 11 cars on the lead lap.
Staying out, paid off these guys. DW, what I'm doing is that crew chief. I'm picking your brain now. Don't tell me what it does at the end of 50 laps. I need to know what it did for 20 laps, because that's what kind of a shootout we're going to have.
And see, this is why I never like to pit early. Stay out there until you got to come on pit road. Because every time you pit early trying to get some advantage, this is what happens to you.
Now, these guys that did pit, they will stay out. That'll put them probably on the tail end of the lead lap, but they're going to have to
Here they come.
Got more work for these leaders.
Watch these blistering fast 15-second pit stops, guys.
They're going to work on the right side tires. The lefts are up on the wall. Let's see if they do a 4-tire stop today. Jeff Gordon a little bit slow so far. Chris Anderson just coming around the car.
14.3 for Ricky Rudd. Nearly dead even with Jeff Gordon. Ricky Rudd got the lead. Listen to the crowd cheer. Listen to the crowd. Oh, they're so happy that Ricky Rudd got the lead from Jeff Gordon. I wonder if they'll stay that way.
And I get it in stereo from 2 announcers. 2 tires. Now,
2 tires.
Dale Earnhardt lost an engine at the end of the practice session yesterday. It's probably totally unrelated.
This is undoubtedly one of the toughest announcements I've ever had to make. But after the lap 170 caution, we have lost Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s engine. Well, I mentioned Burns. I said I was counting the dead people, and I said Steve Burns, Bobby Hamilton, Jason Leffler. Yeah, Steve Burns, Bobby Hamilton, Jason Leffler, yeah. And Robert Presley. Isn't Robert Presley dead?
Knowing he's going to have to restart.
So that's 4. Jeff Gordon's getting hot.
So if he comes back in, they want to know if he wants the car to handle differently, because now instead of being out front, he'd have to deal with traffic.
Something he hadn't had to do a lot today.
No.
He's questioning about everything here. This is a good time to make any of those adjustments they didn't talk about or make. You heard him asking about the temperature. The radiator has an electric fan on it. Ricky Rudd's back in as well in the 28 car.
Well, they took 2 tires. Are they going to get 2 more?
I believe since they know Gordon had to come back in, they thought maybe they would come
Dick
back
Berggren's not dead. He just looks dead. But he was on the Dale Jr. download recently, and he was awesome.
You heard him talk about adjusting the track bar. They're going to raise the track bar.
So they had lug nuts off.
So 11 cars on the lead lap, and Jeff Gordon and these guys came back in. Interesting.
Well, Ricky Rudd got his left side tires, and he's back out.
Well, I believe that's a product of, well, if Gordon's in trouble, got to come in, restart at the back. I'm going to start back there with him. And now he's behind.
That is weird.
And it puts one of those Dodge boys out front, Sterling Marlin.
Robert Presley's not dead. I don't know why I thought he was dead. Hey, there's Junebug. I thought Robert Presley was dead. Hell, I don't watch Lost Speed. I've seen like 2 episodes of Lost Speedways. So Sterling Marlin and the Burton brothers are up front because Gordon came back down for loose lug nuts, and Rudd came down with him to get those other 2 tires. So goddamn, this is going to be a hell of a show to the end. Because I know who ends up at the front, and they're not up front right now. Good God. All them lap cars, 3 wide with the lead lap cars. The fuck?
He's back there in about 18th position on the racetrack, but he's leading the race in the 40 car.
All of those cars that made pit stops under green pulled up behind the pace car when the cars that have not hit it under caution. So the race leader is deep in that. I don't even.
There's going to have to be a caution here in this clusterfuck. I mean, good God.
Here's Marlin.
Sterling's the leader in the middle of a shit show.
That would be a battle for the lead.
And he's got the Burtons behind him. Surely Sterling can drive away from these. I know they're all in heavy traffic as the lap cars, but Jeff Burton and Ward Burton haven't been anywhere close to being as fast as Sterling Marlin in this race. Rudd and Jeff Gordon are the two best cars. Oh boy, we're hitting the Camping World 20 to go. Now here's a guy. Is Chris Collinsworth announcing this race, or was that Larry McReynolds? 20 to go. This is depressing because, well, you'll see why. I'll explain why at the end of the race. Oh, June bug.
Yeah, we ran out of gas. I guess we figured the mileage wrong or something. Then burnt piston. We burnt piston in practice, and so we knew why. I guess not. So go home, figure it out, man. Just gonna take a hit in the points. We really didn't need it. We was kind of trying to move up, trying to be consistent. We'll just kind of try to keep going, man.
Junior was not having a good time at this point in 2001 for obvious fucking reasons.
His older brother won here yesterday in the ARCA race. Yes, he did.
I know he burned a piston yesterday, but sometimes running out of fuel. Starve that thing, pulling that fuel, that can burn a piston as well.
Yeah, you see that happen, period.
Oh.
There's our leader that's going by. He's still in mid-pack. Yeah, it is, and the thing is, Jeff Gordon's loving every bit of this because he is closing in a hurry. There's Gordon underneath Ryan Newman.
Ricky Rudd's passed more cars than anybody here today. He probably wasn't upset at all to pit and get those tires and stay with Jeff Gordon.
Ricky Rudd in the 28, Jeff Gordon in the 24. Here you see our interval behind the leader, 1.3 seconds.
See how Rudd pulled him down the straightaway. Gordon came off on the bottom of 4, but he had to fade up in behind the 28 car.
Look how much distance, so Jeff Gordon's losing. It's back to 1.5 seconds. He's back there in traffic. He's been in clean air all day. He's had to deal with traffic. 1.6 seconds off turn 2.
If Sterling Marlin can get himself a little lead, get out of the traffic and get out front, he might be able to hold these guys off.
And we've lost the 4th place car. Ward Burton has dropped down to the apron, way off the pace.
Ward Burton's got a motor going down. Poor Ward. The goddamn motor's going down. He probably said something like that on the radio. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Blaney is right up there to challenge. Back from Elliott.
Sterling has worked his way out of this mad rush back here, and now Gordon's in the middle of it. But boy, he just went by Ricky Rudd in the 99 car on the bottom of the racetrack.
Gordon just passed Rudd and Jeff Burton for second. Man, Gordon is using that traffic perfectly. It couldn't be going any better for him. Remember how awesome Michigan used to be? You're seeing it. 4 abreast. Just one time, I wish an announcer would have said, Danica Patrick, 4 abreast. Or would that be 6 if she was involved?
And you could have a fast car, never know it.
2 of the Penske cars battling, the 12 of Mayfield, the 02 of Newman for 5th place.
5th spot, Jeff Burton in the 99 on the high side. And again, there you see Hutch.
On the high side.
These are all these lap cars, and Bill Elliott in the 9.
Well, they need a caution to sort this fucking mess out. It's hard to see who's running where. Sterling's leading. Gordon's second. Rudd is third. Jeff Burton's fourth.
Sterling Marlin's 1.7 seconds ahead of Blaney, who is 0.3 ahead of Gordon.
And Gordon is trapped behind the 93 and this 31 right here. He can't get out behind him. It's just right here. He goes to the bottom. He's headed to the bottom.
Gordon is making all the right moves. Rudd's not far behind, but Jeff Gordon's making all the right moves. Hey, Michael. Hey, Michael, you want to conjure up some bet money so I don't have to work tomorrow? I wish there was something we could bet on today to get me enough money to say fuck work tomorrow. Because, yes, I got to work on Sunday. Hope you had fun at the beach. We've got late race drama here, buddy.
He needs to get around him in a hurry because these guys are coming. Ricky Rudd on the bottom side here lost a lot of momentum. You see about the Fox tracks, 2.6 seconds behind our leader. Well, the 31 car held him to the bottom going into the corner, and it took away his momentum. going to slide up in front of him.
Still there.
2.6 seconds, 14 laps to go. Gordon needs to run 2.
Look how far ahead Sterling is.
To catch him, but then he's got to pass him.
And in the last lap, he was a 10th and a half quicker than
But
Marlin.
Marlin's been stuck beside the 36 car. He just cleared him going into 3. He's got clean air in front of him. He should be able to really pull away.
The crowd cheered so loud when Rudd got the lead on pit road.
That's going to hold him up a little bit, but he's been awfully strong getting into turn 1.
Jeff Gordon was 4/10.
I'm going through misery because I don't want to fucking work tomorrow. Because once again, I have new video games and shit I bought to play and can't play them because I have to go to bed soon. I played a lot of SRX this week, Michael. I'll stream that sometime this week. The SRX video game. I've played it a lot. Earlier today, as a matter of fact, I was racing super late models again.
Gordon is almost there.
Now there's Bobby Labonte. There's Marlin. So Marlin can get a little drafting help off Labonte right now.
Oh, he's in good shape right now. He's cleared all the cars that he needed to. Question now is, does he have the
12 laps.
Hold Gordon off.
Now that time Sterling Marlin was about a 10th quicker than Jeff Gordon.
That's what he needs.
12 laps to go.
Hey, Michael, I bet you $100 that a Hendrick car wins this race. Oh, we got a wreck.
One car way sideways and around and up and
Well, damn, that might have just fucked Sterling Marlin over. John Andretti, Robert Presley.
And there's Presley, who was spun down to the bottom of the racetrack.
And Sterling did not need
Get 1,100. We'll send 50 of it my way so I don't have to work tomorrow.
Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, Bobby Labonte.
Oh, man.
I think he got
I believe he did get it. He did
Trainer
get it
got it.
back.
Caution's out with about 10 to go. Sterling, Jeff Gordon, and Ricky Rudd up front.
We're going to have under a 10-lap shootout.
It almost worked out perfect for Sterling. When Gordon had the loose lugs and Rudd pitted with him and it handed the lead to Sterling and he got through that traffic with all the lap cars lined up in front of him.
The guy Sterling Marlin did not want to see this caution. We're going to be under 10 laps. It will be a down finger restart. No lap traffic to deal with. He'll start this race with Jeff Gordon right on his rear bumper.
That is pure speed is who's got the fastest race car. They've been pretty equally matched, the two have.
I'm pretty sure we will not see Sterling Marlin, Jeff Gordon, Ricky Rudd on pit road for any kind of service. We ran 11 laps. We may see some of those cars.
Damn, Robert Presley just junked the 43. Straight up junked him. Then he paid the price for it, too. Instant karma. Oh, no. What a save by Robert Presley. Does he get hit? Ew. Good God. Casey Atwood, the next Jeff Gordon, avoids Robert Presley. That was impressive. No wonder people like Casey Atwood so much. But hell, it was a hell of a save by Robert Presley. Oh, my God. Mikey avoided a wreck.
He ended up behind Michael. My gosh. Hard to get through there.
Jeff Burton in the 99, Bill Elliott in the 9, Jimmy Spencer in the 26, all the cars that made the lap up, Johnny Benson, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, Bobby Labonte, all come to pit road. But Jeff Burton and Bill Elliott, they were backsliding. They might as well come to pit road try to make that car better.
Elliott was third at one time, but he was coming in ninth place.
McBurgren.
Jeff Burton did. They're going to take a pound out of the right rear, move the track bar down to try to adjust this car.
There's only 11 cars on the lead lap, so I'm not surprised so many cars are pitting. Actually, there's a little more than that now because a lot of guys got their laps back there at the start of that, but I'd be staying out at this point.
Left side tires going on for Harvick, and he's away right next to Johnny Benson and Matt Kenseth.
How many fucking pit stalls did Kevin Harvick just drive through on the way out?
Leaves, and that will set us up for the shootout. 10 laps to go. Here
To Michigan International Speedway here in Brooklyn, Michigan on FX. We just have
Gonna have 9 to go, 8 to go when they hit the line. It'll be less than that when they restart. We had the best race of the year last week and 2 road course races coming up, so yeah. Football season's not far, too.
If he can just hold him off, but I'm telling you, it's going to be tough with Gordon behind me.
Yeah, the way Jeff Gordon is going, it's been 24 years since a Dodge has won here, Mike.
Last Winston Cup win for Dodge anywhere was November '77, Neil Bonnet on Ontario. And we've had some nail biters here, DW.
Oh, yeah, I never will forget that one. I was just starting to get into my stride there in 1978, and I was working on the old Pearson. I thought I had him set up. I thought I had him beat. And the old Fox slid right by me going into turn 3 and won the race.
And I won't forget that 1991 with Dale Jarrett. Got us on the last corner of the last lap in that Wood Brothers car when I was with Davey Allen.
And you know what? We're getting ready to see somebody else's name is getting ready to go on that statistic list.
All right, let's set the restart for you. Sterling Marlin, there you see his crew, the race leader.
Sterling would have to wait another year before he finally hit his stride in a Cup car.
Right behind him, lead lap car, single file. There's
Dave Blaney is 4th.
that list. Jimmy Spencer, Johnny Benson, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick.
And from here down, all of these cars stayed
Hut
out.
Strickland
Everybody
7th.
here down on the lead lap pitted.
Because the caution that happened during the pit cycle, Dale Jr. blowing up.
2 Dodges in the top 5.
Now the lead lap
Then that caution just now. 15 cars on the lead lap. Jimmy Spencer's 11th. Wow. He had a spin and hit the wall early in the race.
That's a break for Sterling. And I tell you, the biggest thing is I watched Gordon on every
Man, no free passes made these races way better.
up through the gears.
Marlin's only led twice in this race.
Racing back to the yellow was fun, too.
97. He has 2 top 5s, but has never won here.
But what a great year those guys are having. It's been a little up and down. They're the only team that has been in the top 10 in points all year long since Daytona.
And look at Ray Evernham, Bill Elliott, 5th at Daytona, and his best since then, 14th.
What else happened at Daytona, Mike?
He's up there in that top 10.
Mike Joy.
Dodge in the top 10. If you're a Dodge boy, you're having a pretty good afternoon. Of course, maybe not as good as these guys here, but still had a great afternoon. Fun to watch. All right, Larry, what are you going to do, buddy? What are you going to tell me? Tell me something.
Sterling, you got to have one of the best restarts you've ever had right here.
Marlin, he's got to quench those flames. Maybe pop the top and pour a little on them.
Oh, that's
Sterling, Jeff, Ricky Rudd.
Round them out.
Single file restart, 7 to go.
7 laps. Look at Mayfield.
Mayfield inside of Blaney.
Can't believe Dave Blaney's 4th. Wow, Sterling. That looked like Bill Elliott in the SRX race at Nashville. And Jeffrey Gordon takes the lead. Got a spin in the back. Another goddamn caution. How does the dead last place car spin out?
Here come all those lap down cars, but none of them will get close enough.
Who's going to be second?
Close for second place.
Rudd. Yeah, Kurt Busch wrecked early in the race, but yeah, this was his first year of trying to run every race. He made a few starts in 2000, but this was his first full-time year. Well, good for Danica Shauna Robinson. She didn't hit nothing.
Back in the early days of NASCAR, about the only records that were kept were the car number, the driver's name, the number of laps completed, and the payoff. And even who they drove for, who owned the car. Those records weren't kept in the early days. So a little bit of confusion how many women have competed in NASCAR Winston Cup racing. Either 14 or 15 as of today.
Well, she's done a good job. She stayed out of trouble up until now. See if we can tell what happened here.
From the Briggs and Stratton on board.
She pulled Cody Ware dead last and spun out by herself.
We have seen so many cars get loose.
Cody Ware's done that like 3 times in the last month.
Especially in the early part of the race.
You know, she's running 34th.
She's running 34th. And like 8 cars are out of the race, DW. Quickie yellow from NASCAR here. No overtimes. It's 2001. You got to get this thing restarted before the scheduled distance ends, or it ain't restarting.
Flagman holding one finger down. That's, again, a down finger restart. Under 10 laps to go, single file, only lead lap cars to the front, everybody else behind them, and those guys cannot mix their position back there. If you're 20 laps down and you're in front of a car that's 1 lap down, you can't let him by you.
Performance of the day, as far as I'm concerned, is Hut Strickland as you watch the pit stop on Shauna Robinson.
See the tire guy for Shauna Robinson just flail the tire across pit road? That would be an uncontrolled tire nowadays.
Lopez can take a lot of pride in that performance because ever since he's been over there, they have run a lot better.
The last top 10 for this car, August of 1999, right here.
If you look down to our left there, all that smoke you see down there, that haze is the late Lopez. He's smoking cigarettes today.
Good run for us. Jeff Gordon, the leader. Remember, the pole sitter hasn't won since last fall. Tony Stewart won at Martinsville last September. Ricky Rudd right with him, Sterling Marlin, Dave Blaney. Another fellow who has not had a lot of good finishes this year, but looks like he's going to have a great one today for Bill Davis. In fourth, Jeremy Mayfield there in fifth, ahead of Penske protege Ryan Newman. Jeff?
Yeah, I've been watching that Ryan Newman crew all day long, keeping up with their pit stops. Those guys have been whipping out 15-second stops, and they're really pumped, as far as their drivers concerned. They've had an excellent run all day long.
Again, a Roger Penske group, and Roger Penske puts emphasis on everything, good pit stops included.
Yeah, he's over here to our left as well.
Yeah, Chris, I have to remind myself about certain rules and things that don't happen.
Jeff Gordon light up those flames and blast away from the field. Can Ricky Rudd win his first race since 1988?
Rudd's going to have to get a run on him going into one. That's all he can do.
Can Sterling Marlin or Dave Blaney come back and give Dodge its first Winston Cup win in 24 years? Let's find out.
Yeah, Dodge hadn't won a race at this point in over 20 years because 2001 was their first year back. 4 laps.
Rudd trying to stay right with Jeff Gordon. See how Sterling falling back on the restart. That's been his Achilles heel most of the day.
Ricky Rudd, 88 races ago, was his last win.
Dig, Rudd, dig. Come on, get it under.
And those two have taken off from the field. It's a 2-horse race.
180,000 people, everybody.
Yeah, they smoked Sterling.
Rudd closes up at the end of the back straightaway, but I think Gordon's a little quicker through the corner.
Remember how strong Rudd has been off turn 2, though. Let's see if he can mount a charge.
Sterling's got his hands full right behind him with Blaney. Here they come. 3 laps to go.
Jeremy Mayfield has climbed up into 4th place.
If Rudd can get up under him and stay close to the corner, he can...
This is back when you could actually get close enough to somebody to get to their left rear and take the air off their car and get them loose, or spin them out without even touching them. You won't see that anymore. And that'd be Rudd's only chance here, really. Ricky Rudd's not shy about running anybody over, though.
Ricky Rudd is going to have one last best
2 laps.
Jeff Gordon, and this time they come to the line with 2 to go. Boy, he is there.
No question about it. He's going to put the pressure on Gordo, but I haven't ever seen Gordo.
Gordo. I wish Darrell would stop calling him Gordo. El Jefe.
He's just a little bit quicker up off of the corner.
Now this time Gordon maintains a 1-car length advantage.
Rudd pulls him and gets him at the end of the straightaway. Rudd's probably a tick quicker, but he's not getting through.
Not enough, though. A 10th ain't going to cut it when you're that close.
Rudd's going to go to the high side. He'll get up there.
The high side.
Loosen her up. They'll give him some momentum.
Woo, Jeff. Tried to slide up in front of him and open the door. Rudd leads at the white flag.
With a car length advantage. Get up and go there. You got to get in front of him. You can't let him come back on the outside.
Damn. Look at Jeff send that shit from the outside. Rudd lost the nose there in 2. That's going to kill him.
All right, we're going to see what happens.
Get a draft down the back. It's your only hope.
Man, he was there. That would have been for the win if it was on this lap.
If he can get close enough, he might have a shot to try it again. Rudd tries
He's setting him up just like he did the lap before. I think Jeff's just going to stay committed to the bottom. He wouldn't slide up this time. A little slower. He did slide up, but Rudd didn't get nearly as big of a run. Hey, Jeff Gordon. That's Rick Hendrick's 100th win. They would get their 200th at Darlington in 2012 with Jimmy Johnson. Ricky Rudd was nice everywhere but inside a race car, but you hear that about a lot of those guys from back then.
for Jeffrey Bodine, 7. Ken Schrader and Ricky Rudd, 4 apiece. 1 for Jerry Nadeau.
And I might add, our points leader, Dale Jarrett, finishes 18th. It's going to be close, guys.
Gordon led the most laps and won the race, and Dale Jarrett was the points leader, 50 points ahead, finished 18th. That couldn't have gone any better for Jeff. Spoiler alert, he wins the championship.
This is a good race. Love it. Watch this race for 5th to the line.
Fucking Dave Blaney and Hutch Strickland and young Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman back when he had a neck.
The 99 is get in there and give him a little
Oh! That's all it took to cost the 90 car 5th place. That little loss of momentum right there.
But look at the difference.
Ryan Newman, top 5.
Just a nose. And that's after 400 miles. The 99 to 93, all those cars come across together.
Listen to the crowd boo. Oh, Jeff Gordon was not popular in 2001. Well, he was popular, just not in a good way.
Love or hate.
You know,
They cheered like hell when Rudd got the lead on pit road after the final pit stops.
a lot of folks would like to see somebody else, because when the dominant team wins,
Well, I tell you, you got to have some good guys, and you got to have some bad guys, and you got to have some heroes. And that guy there is a hero.
Hero. I like how Daryl says that. Hero.
Jeff Gordon passes Lee Petty and Rusty Wallace for sole possession of 7th on the all-time NASCAR win list.
Gordon is gay. You ever hear that on YouTube? Look at that stupid fucking smile on his face. No wonder everybody hated this guy. Look at him.
Now that was a thriller.
It was, and I swear, I think Ricky Rudd, if he'd have seen that move that he put on Gordon, could get the white flag.
Yeah, Rudd made his move 1 lap too soon, and then Gordon just sent that shit. Rudd's car got tight running the bottom into 1, and Gordon sent it in from the outside. Hey, there's Brooke. Remember Brooke? I think Steel Panther wrote a song about her. It's called Gold Digging Horror.
Magical win, number 100, as he gets a hug from John Hendrick.
Oh, John. Rest in peace, John. There you go. Another dead person.
Gordon reaches back and, of course, had to get the sunglasses.
Add another dead person to the counter.
To win it like that, Jeff?
Well, there's so many things special about this day. Of course, it was an exciting race. My hat's off to Sterling Marlin and Ricky Rudd. What a great race. But this was for Pop. I know you're watching, Pop. We're with you, buddy, and just praying for you. And man, I tell you, what an awesome victory this was for the DuPont Chevrolet. I want to thank...
Nice glasses, douche.
Of course, DuPont, but GMAC, Chevrolet. I want to thank Fritos, too. They're on board. We don't get a chance to thank them enough. But I tell you what, it's pretty awesome to get our 100th win for Hendrick Motorsports. Rick said he wasn't going to be here when we did it, and unfortunately he's not. But John's here.
Yes. We need dead people stats.
What were you thinking when Rudd made his move?
I was thinking, man, Yates makes some horsepower. That's what I was thinking.
Yates engines.
I know if I got the lead, I'd have the preferred line, but he'd get some real momentum coming off the corner. And boy, when that thing would draft you, buddy, there's no holding it back. And he made a smart move. Ricky's such a great driver. He made a smart move, went to the high side of me down in 3 and 4, got a run. When he got inside,
You saw guys all day trying to pass on the inside, and every now and then somebody would duck to the outside and catch somebody up by surprise off of 4, and it would really work. And that got Rudd the lead at the white flag, but he should have. If only he could have got that done on the last lap. He was 1 lap away.
Incredible race, incredible finish. Jeff Gordon picks up career win number 55, moves into 6th on the all-time win list. Number 1.
Jeff Gordon would win about 39 more races or so.
Jeff Gordon celebrates in victory lane 2 weeks in a row as he closes in on the Winston Cup point lead. Jeff Gordon is the winner, and Chevy congratulates Jeff with the number 24 Monte Carlo team under
Well, all right, gang. I hate to cut off the post-race interviews and shit, but I got to take a shower and then decide if I'm going to let myself work tomorrow. God damn it. But tomorrow, between 4 and 5, we'll say, sometime between 4 and 5, I'll be back, and we'll stream another race. And I won't tell you which one I'm thinking of. It'll be a surprise like today. But thanks for stopping by. That was fun.